Chapter 4288. The palm pressed down like the sky, shattering heaven and earth as it encased Lin Xian. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he instantly dodged, arriving in another space. "Old fellow, do you really think that you can suppress me?" Xiao Chen snorted coldly. Lin Xian also felt angry. Now, his cultivation had broken through 2 stages, reaching middle stage Holy Venerate. His strength had undergone a complete transformation long ago. Now, he did not fear facing a late-stage Holy Venerate alone. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingchu wanted to go over as well. However, Lin Xian sent them a voice projection. "There's no need. I just broke through and want to test my strength. Just the 2 of you will be my protector." The 2 nodded. They also knew that Lin Xian's strength had increased long ago, so there was no need to worry. The surrounding people were stunned. This fellow wanted to challenge a late-stage Holy Venerate alone? Where did he get his confidence from? Did this fellow think that he was still in the 2nd stage? In the 2nd stage, late-stage Holy Venerates had to suppress their cultivation to fight. However, in this place there were no rules to be followed. Indeed, the 3 mature demonic fire apes smiled coldly. "Brat, do you think that you can challenge me just because you killed Holy Venerate Hegu? You are really reckless. Now, I'll show you the true strength of a late-stage Holy Venerate." After saying that, the 3 mature demonic fire ape opened his mouth and spewed out an overwhelming purple sea of flames, which turned into boundless red light. Then, it charged at Lin Xian, instantly encasing the space around Lin Xian. The overwhelming fire swallowed up everything. Do you think that this fellow will get instantly killed in one move? Some people already started laughing coldly. After all, this was the strength of a late-stage Holy Venerate. Even from so far away, they felt despair. How could the other party possibly contend against it? Lin Xian looked at these purple flames and snorted coldly. In the next moment, he clenched his hand into a fist and punched. The 9 yang divine flames surged out and turned into 9 suns. These 9 suns exploded in the surroundings and blocked the purple flames in the sky. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 flames clashed in the surroundings, the 2 great Tao clashing continuously. The sky crumbled and the earth cracked. Lin Xian waved his hand and repelled the purple flames. He looked forward and laughed coldly. "Is this all you've got? Stop trying to test me. My strength is beyond your imagination. If you want to defeat me, you'll have to show me your true ability. Otherwise, let's see how you'll withstand my wrath." After he finished speaking, Lin Xian waved his hand and used the Tiger Demon Fist. The golden flames combined with the indomitable aura formed a heavenly flaming steel. He descended from the sky, wanting to suppress the other party. This move was extremely terrifying. Now that it was used by Lin Xian, it was even more terrifying than before. Seeing this, the 3-eyed demonic fire ape was enraged. The other party actually dared to look down on him and even dared to take the initiative to attack him? "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." He decided to display his true strength and let the other party know what it meant to be a late-stage Holy Venerable. Raging Inferno War. Following his furious roar, the purple flames on his body erupted as he stretched out his palm. Countless Tao patterns appeared on his palm, interweaving with the great Tao. Then he swung his palm down. The power of this one was much more tyrannical than before. It could be said that they could not be mentioned in the same breath. Clearly, this was a powerful move. The surrounding people retreated in horror, their complexions pale. Several people nearly fell to their knees. A middle-stage Holy Venerate would not survive this attack. Even a late-stage Holy Venerate of the same cultivation would not dare to clash head-on. Shen Jingqiu exclaimed, worry filling her eyes. Murong Qingqing remained expressionless. However, she clenched her fists tightly. Her fingertips turned somewhat white. It was obvious that he was extremely nervous. Buzz! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Similarly, a sharp murderous intent appeared in his eyes. The laws and energy that appeared in his body surged continuously. Tiger Demon Fist, 4th move, Divine Martial. As Xiao Chen spoke, his black fist suddenly released an unparalleled light. At the same time, a scene seemed to appear in Lin Xian's mind. It was the scene of him comprehending the dragon's breathing technique on Mount Longhu. Back then, he did not have any tiger race's cultivation technique, so he could not comprehend it. However, he remembered that scene deeply in his mind. Now, as he executed the tiger demon fist, that scene appeared again. He seemed to sense a strange breathing technique awakening. Along with this vibration, his entire arm seemed to have turned into an exceptional divine lake that roared towards the sky. A roar was heard, and a terrifying power erupted in the 9 heavens. It caused the surrounding void to shatter into pieces. The surrounding people were all stunned. Where did that roar come from? The tiger, the king of beasts, suppressed everything. They all looked around. Then, their pupils shrank. It was Lin Xian. How was that possible? Why was there a roar again? Wasn't he related to the dragons? These people were about to go crazy. The three-eyed fire demon ape felt its chi and blood tremble when it heard the roar. It was actually related to the tiger race. This kid could not be left alive. A strong murderous intent appeared in its eyes. This kid was related to Mount Longhu. There must be a special inheritance in his body. If it killed the kid and obtained the inheritance, it might be able to further evolve its bloodline. By then, it might even reach the sacred ruler realm in advance. Kid, hand over your secret obediently. It sneered. The purple palm was even more terrifying. It grabbed at Lin Xian. In the sky, a ferocious tiger lunged forward and collided with the purple palm. The energy produced by the collision was terrifying. Everything in the surroundings was turned into ashes. Apart from the fiery mountain, the others had retreated into the distance. Their bodies were trembling, and their faces were filled with fear. Even the people in the distance felt the energy fluctuation. They all sent out their soul spirits to investigate. Who exactly was fighting? Were they two peak sacred venerables? Did they block it? Amidst the shattered void, they saw that the purple palm had stopped in midair and did not descend again. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to fight against a late-stage sacred venerate with his own strength. It was unbelievable. How strong was his flesh? How strong was it? Why do I feel like he's already a late-stage sacred venerate? Cries of surprise could be heard. As for the purple palm in the sky, it retreated once again. Following it, it launched a fiercer attack at Qi Nan. The flames on the palm felt like they were going to destroy everything. However, Lin Xian showed no fear. He swung his fist again. The tiger demon fist was executed in an unparalleled manner. At that moment, it was as if a godly tiger had been resurrected. The successive collisions caused the void to turn into chaos. Even the flames on the purple palm dimmed. It was even trembling. The three-eyed fire demon ape wore an unpleasant expression. This guy was actually able to fight against it. Chapter 4289. This brat must have secretly taken a medicinal pill or executed some secret technique. Only then can he contend with me. I want to see how long he can last. The three-eyed fire demonic ape snorted coldly. After all, it was a true late-stage holy venerate. It did not believe that the other party could keep contending with it. The purple flames on its body became even more horrifying. At the same time, its body became even larger. It was like it had become a huge, great, desolate Aeon beast. The three-eyed fire demonic ape kept waving its palms. It was like 100,000 mountains were descending, suppressing everything. Lin Xian's face turned sullen. He snorted coldly and formed hand seals. Laws flew out and formed the 10 absolute sword formation around him. Kill! The 10 absolute sword formation gave off dragon roars and terrifying sword chi. The sword chi flew around continuously, piercing through the sky. Boom! 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 Countless strands of sword chi flew into the sky and clashed with the purple palms. A sky-shattering sound rang out. Following that, cracks appeared on the purple palms. A terrifying aura filled the air, and the surrounding people were all stunned. They heard the sound of something shattering. What's going on? These people looked over. Then their eyes nearly popped out. The purple palms were actually about to shatter. This was too inconceivable. Everyone was stunned. The atmosphere turned somewhat quiet. They simply could not believe what was happening. Boom! Another explosion rang out, and the 10 ultimate sword formation was knocked back. It circled around Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also knocked back, smashing through space. Lin Xian's complexion was somewhat pale. However, his lips curled up in a smile. Lin Xian looked to the front. In front of them, a huge black shadow was burning with purple flames. That was a pair of purple palms. At this moment, they were covered in cracks. Following a loud explosion, the crack opened with a loud rumble. The palms shattered. Clumps of blood wrapped in flames fell from the sky. The ground was pierced, and the mountain peak was smashed apart. A scene of apocalypse appeared. What late-stage holy venerate? That's all there is to it. Lin Xian smiled coldly. Roar! The three-eyed fire demonic ape reared its head back and roared furiously. He was actually injured. Although his arm was broken, it was only a minor injury to him. But this was a slap to his face. The other party was weaker than him by an entire realm, but was actually able to injure him. Damn it! With a roar, he raised his foot and stomped down viciously. This strike was earth-shattering, and it was filled with incomparable fury. Lin Xian's figure flashed as he quickly dodged the attack. The surrounding ground continued to shatter. The broken body of the three-eyed fire demon ape healed once again. His palms recovered and began to close together. It directly hit Lin Xian. With a boom, it completely enveloped Lin Xian as if he was swatting a fly. Many people's eyelids twitched when they saw this. This strike was enough to shatter his bones. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu looked worried again. The three-eyed fire demon ape laughed coldly. Let's see how you die this time. However, his smile quickly disappeared. The reason for that was because his palm had shattered once again. 36 swords flew out and circled around Lin Xian. Xian executed the Heavenly Star Battle Sword. Together with the 10 consummate sword technique, it was extremely strong. Brat, you have thoroughly angered me. The three-eyed fire demon ape roared. It opened its mouth and spat out countless flames, which turned into a long saber that it grasped. This was its weapon. It held it with both hands. The saber split the sky. It clashed with the battle swords. Boom! Lin Xian was sent flying in an instant. His 30 battle swords were trembling non-stop. This saber strike was too terrifying. It was a peak saber strike of a late-stage holy venerate. Even Lin Xian could not block it with his full power. He kept retreating, crashing through mountains and rivers. However, Xiao Chen's physique was extremely strong. This saber strike only made his qi and blood surge. It did not injure him. The 36 battle swords regrouped. The 10 consummate sword formation erupted with unparalleled might. The battle between the two turned into a storm. At the same time, Lin Xian attacked again. The tiger demon fist erupted again. The ferocious tiger phantom roared, suppressing the 9 heavens. On the other side, dragon roars came from the 10 consummate sword formation. Dragon roars and tiger roars. When these two forces appeared together, Lin Xian executed the dragon-tiger breathing technique again. A terrifying aura spread out. This time, he was extremely strong. Boom! The purple flame saber was sent flying. The three-eyed fire demon ape also kept retreating. Its huge body fell to the ground. Lin Xian soared into the sky and executed the dragon-tiger phantom again. The dragon and tiger merged into one. It was like a huge mountain, pressing down on the three-eyed fire demon ape. Go to hell! Lin Xian roared. At this moment, the power of the dragon-tiger breathing technique and the 10 consummate sword formation were unleashed to the extreme. That aura of destruction suppressed everything. Everyone raised their heads and looked at this godlike figure. They were extremely shocked. This Lin Wudi is really too strong. It is a tragedy to be born in the same era as him. The three-eyed fire demon ape roared crazily. Its purple flame saber had already been hacked into the ground far away. Its arm was also broken. It could not fight back at all. However, it roared at the sky, releasing a sky-shaking sound wave. Fire demon roar. The terrifying sound wave vibrated and swept out in all directions. It went against the dragon-tiger roar and dragon-tiger roar. The two collided again. The aura kept collapsing. Everyone saw the sky falling and the earth cracking. They had sealed off their hearing and used their laws to defend themselves. Crack, crack. Lin Xian's body let out a dragon roar again. The dragon tiger phantom exploded again. After shattering the tiger demon fist, he viciously punched downwards. Its target was the head of the other party. Not good. Seeing this, countless people exclaimed. They did not expect this. The three-eyed fire demon ape was defeated. They were worried for the other party. This was something that they had never dreamed of. Great. Is he going to win? Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu smiled. The dragon tiger phantom was reflected in the eyes of the three-eyed fire demon ape. In the next moment, its eyes turned red. The third eye between its brows shone with a strange light. Then, a purple lightning bolt flew out from its eye and split the sky. Crack. The shocking thunder made everyone's blood boil. The dragon tiger mountain was split open. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He retreated and dodged quickly. However, he was still affected by the aura. In an instant, the place he was at turned into nothingness. Brother Xian. Murong Qingqing and the rest exclaimed. The others were also stunned. What was going on? Was Lin Wudi killed? What was that purple light just now? Someone took a deep breath. It was the third eye of the three-eyed fire demon ape. It was one of its unique skills. Once it was released, its power was extremely terrifying. Everyone was terrified. The third eye actually had such terrifying power. Chapter 4290. The earth trembled and the huge figure on the ground stood up again. All the cracks on his body were healed and his eyes shone with a strange light. His cold voice was like thunder as it spread out in all directions. A mere ant dares to go against me? You really don't know your place. The three-eyed fire demon ape sneered. In the distance, there was a flash of light. It was obvious that the battle here had attracted people from afar. When they arrived, their pupils shrank when they saw this scene. It was actually an expert from the demon race. They stopped in the air and were shocked. Who was the instructor? They looked around and realized that the people around them were talking about Lin Xian. Had Lin Xian already been killed? Some people were shocked, while others revealed hideous smiles. That's great. This guy is finally dead. Brother Lin Xian. Shen Jingqiu's face changed. The cosmic form behind her surged out and was about to soar into the sky. Murong Qingqing said, Qiu, don't be nervous. Try to sense Brother Xian's aura. It hasn't weakened. Shen Jingqiu was stunned. She quickly used her soul to check. Then, she heaved a sigh of relief. Indeed, she could sense Lin Xian's aura. It was still there, so she didn't act rashly. A few sword lights slashed the void. A figure walked out from the turbulent energy. His body was still stained with blood. It was obvious that he was injured. However, it didn't seem to be a big deal. I didn't expect you to have a trump card. You could even split the illusion of Mount Longhu. Lin Xian looked serious. Indeed, the attack just now was combined with the breathing technique of the dragons and tigers. He was confident that he could destroy everything. However, he didn't expect his opponent to block it and even injure him. It seemed like his opponent's third eye contained the secrets of heaven and earth. He's not dead? The people in the distance were also shocked when they saw this scene. The three-eyed fire demon ape was also stunned. Its three eyes were burning with anger. You're still alive. Well, I'll capture you and torture you to death slowly. The three-eyed fire demon ape bared its fangs and the murderous aura on its body became even more terrifying. It closed its eyes and opened the three eyes in between its eyebrows. The eyes were mysterious and there were strange runes on them. Soul destruction. A purple light shone and instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian and enveloped Lin Xian. Heaven and earth around them. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. Boundless power surged from his body. At the same time, a pair of golden eyes opened, like the eyes of a god. The golden flames burned fiercely and collided with the purple light. Then, both of them disappeared from the world. And fortunately, he was also a powerhouse. That was why he could block the attack. Otherwise, he would have been in danger. He could block the attack. The fire demon ape's face darkened. After all, it had already used some of its trump cards. However, it was still unable to do anything to its opponent. It found it unbelievable. Let's see how long you can last. While using the soul destruction light, it charged toward Lin Xian quickly. The dual attack of the body and soul was enough to destroy everything. Everyone was worried about Lin Xian again. Lin Xian roared and scanned the surroundings with his heavenly secret god eyes. Between heaven and earth, there was a pair of divine eyes looking down and fighting against the soul destruction light. At the same time, he threw out a black spear. Boundless murderous aura surged toward Lin Xian. Do you think I don't have a trump card? The great spear of destruction was thrown out with a monstrous demonic aura. Lin Xian's original flames were filled with demonic aura. He became extremely violent as if he was a supreme demon king. Some people felt their scalps go numb when they saw it. This guy actually took back the demonic divine artifact again. It was really unbelievable. This great spear of destruction was extremely powerful. They had analyzed it before. It was a super sacred artifact of the demonic race. It might even be of the Sage King level. Now that it was in Lin Xian's hands, it could make Lin Xian's power stronger again. Sure enough, after Lin Xian used it, one attack pierced through heaven and earth. It had an aura that could destroy everything. The whole world shook violently. The three-eyed fire demon ape's huge body was instantly pierced through. Blood dripped and dyed the sky red. He roared at the sky and let out an angry roar. He was so angry that his voice pierced through gold and cracked stone. He didn't expect that he would be injured again. Damn it. Enduring the pain of the wound, his huge palm grabbed the great spear of destruction and wanted to snatch it. This was a super powerful sacred artifact. He was extremely jealous. You're about to die and you still want to snatch my treasure? You don't know what's good for you. Lin Xian sneered. Although his body was not as huge as the other party, his strength was not weak at all. He held it with both hands. With an angry roar, his body bloomed with golden light. At this moment, he didn't hold back at all. The aura of the Nine Suns body was displayed to the world. The endless void under his feet collapsed. Lin Xian's hands were like dragons, roaring in the sky. Waving the great spear of destruction, he directly lifted the huge body of the three-eyed fire demon king. Then, he kept dancing and smashed it fiercely toward the big one. Boom! An earth-shaking sound rang out. The three-eyed fire demon king was smashed to the ground. The endless earth shattered, and the ground below turned into hell. As for the three-eyed fire demon king's body, it was also torn apart. A large crack appeared on its body, directly splitting it apart. This shocking scene stunned everyone. Countless people sucked in a breath of cold air in disbelief. This Lin Wudi was really heaven-defying. With one attack, he shattered the other party's body. Lin Xian roared. With the great spear of destruction in his hand, he attacked again. The dragon and tiger phantoms surrounded him. The 10 ultimate sword formation floated and rushed inside with supreme power. Then, he attacked the broken body again. Damn it! With a roar, the three-eyed fire demon king wanted to recover his body. However, the sword chi of the 10 ultimate sword formation nailed his broken body in the void. He couldn't escape in a short time. However, he was a late-stage holy venerate after all. He was very strong. Now that he couldn't move his body, he used his soul to attack. The purple eyes contained an endless amount of soul power. Go to hell. It was another soul-extinguishing light. This time, it was much more powerful than the previous one. Lin Xian roared. His heavenly secret divine eyes completely erupted. His 2 eyes released a resplendent golden light. It was like a golden sea sweeping down. The golden light blocked the purple soul-extinguishing light. Then it countered it. The purple eyes were hit by the golden light. Then he closed his eyes. Blood flowed out. This time, not only was his body injured, but even his soul was severely injured. He roared at the sky. He was very angry. Damn it! In the distance, the people of the 1,000 Demon City rushed over. They finally couldn't bear it anymore and wanted to attack. However, Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu stood in the void. Let's see who dares to attack. The moment the cosmic form behind Shen Jingqiu appeared, the terrifying laws were like an inescapable net that enveloped the entire area. Murong Qingqing waved her jade-like hand. A green light cut through the void like a long knife. Her cold voice rang out. Those who cross this line will be killed without mercy. Chapter 4291. The two of them attacked and were prepared to stop the people around them. The people from Demon City roared. Why would they be afraid of such a threat? Hence, they charged over. In an instant, these people charged forward. All sorts of demonic aura spread and shook the 9 heavens. However, not long after, they were shocked because they realized that although there were only 2 of them, their strength was too strong. The cosmic form behind Shinjingqiu was like a real immortal king, standing tall and upright. It blocked all the mystique attacks and blocked their way. On the other side, Murong Qingqing was even more terrifying. The 9 slashes of Kunlun and the Jade Lake holy waters surged in all directions, making it impossible for them to win. Damn it. When the 3-eyed fire demon ape saw this, it roared crazily. This bunch of trash couldn't even break through one person? It was really infuriating. When Lin Xian saw this, his lips curled into a smile. Are you still hoping for someone to save you? Dream on. You will definitely die today. Kid, don't be so smug. Can you really kill me? The 3-eyed fire demon ape snorted. Although he had lost, it wasn't that easy for Lin Xian to kill him. Lin Xian sneered. It was indeed more troublesome to kill him using ordinary means. However, the trump card in my hand is not something you can imagine. Next, I will let you know what despair is. The demonic aura on his body surged and covered his entire body. Apart from his strong physique and superb sword skills, he had other mystiques. Previously, he was pretending to be the old ancestor of the heavenly demon tribe. Naturally, he had obtained the inheritance of the heavenly demon tribe. At this moment, he was using one of the mystiques. Demonize the world. This mystique used demonic aura to refine powerful energy and could even dissolve a person directly. This was the mystique of the demon tribe and was extremely terrifying. Normally, Lin Xian wouldn't use it. However, this time, he didn't hold back at all against the 3-eyed fire demon ape. He formed a seal with his palms and streaks of demonic aura surged out, forming a cage and trapping the other party. The demonic aura formed an altar again. A terrifying aura appeared and a refined energy shrouded the other party. Sensing this aura, the 3-eyed fire demon ape was completely terrified. Damn it, you can't do this. He knew that this kind of attack could threaten his life and could even destroy his soul. He roared fiercely, the power in his body exploding as he tried to break free. However, it was useless. His power was being crazily sucked away. The absorbed energy formed black crystals that resembled divine crystals. When the altar finally disappeared, the 3-eyed fire demon ape was already dead. On the ground, there were 8 black crystals that contained a terrifying amount of power. Lin Xian waved her hand and stored the 8 crystals. When the time came, he could provide the great dragon sword soul with the energy inside and use it as a trump card. He could even use the demonic aura to increase his strength. In short, it was a very good treasure. After obtaining it, his lips curled into a cold smile as he looked at the volcano in front of him. The surrounding people were all stupefied. Heavens! Wasn't a late-stage holy venerable killed by the other party just like that? This method was too terrifying. Up ahead, Sage Wanyu, who was fighting Murong Qingqing, roared crazily when he saw this scene. Damn it! Lin Wudi, our 10,000 fiend city will not rest until you die. Boom! Right after Sage Wanyu finished speaking, someone was sent flying. Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu unleashed their strength. These people could not block them at all. These 10,000 fiend city sages roared crazily and retreated into the distance. Did the people of 10,000 fiend city escape? These 2 fairies were very powerful. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not care about such a threat at all. In the next moment, he turned his head and stared at the volcano in front of him. Then he roared and a terrifying power surged out. The Taiji diagram spun and turned into an eternal light that slashed over. At this moment, Lin Xian was attacking the volcano with all his might. The volcano gradually cracked open, and a fiery red will flew out. A ball of red flames spread out, and an extremely powerful aura attracted everyone's attention. Many people's eyes turned red instantly. That was the sage ruler's intent. Although they had seen the strength of Lin Xian and the others before, so what? There were so many of them, and they would definitely have a chance to get it. Therefore, the people around them all rushed over, courting death. Murong Qingqing shouted coldly, and the Kunlun 9 slashes flew out. Shen Jingqiu even used his cosmic form. The two of them fought on one side, blocking the people on both sides. So strong. Previously, these people had watched the battle and already knew that the two of them were powerful. But now that they personally experienced it, they knew how terrifying the two of them were. Moreover, they realized that the two of them had been holding back. Now that they had unleashed their full strength, it was really terrifying. One after another, the laws seemed to be able to tear them apart. Damn it, how could these two be so strong? They were both crazy. On the other side, people from other places charged towards Lin Xian. They felt that this was a good opportunity. Lin Xian snorted coldly. These people still dared to attack him. Did they not know what was good for them? Looking at the two people charging towards him, his body swayed and he directly dodged. Smiles appeared on the faces of the two men. Great, they grabbed at the flame intent. The flame intent erupted with a terrifying light, directly enveloping the two of them. In the next moment, the two of them roared crazily. Their bodies were directly melted, and the two souls fled into the distance. Did they want to leave? Lin Xian split the two souls with one sword. The remaining people did not dare to move forward in fear. For a moment, Lin Xian suppressed the group of people. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu also blocked the other people. The three of them joined forces and blocked nearly 5 times the number of people. Their strength was simply heaven-defying. If you don't get lost, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the power of the 10 ultimate sword formation erupted, directly piercing through heaven and earth. The surrounding space was sealed, forming a boundary. The other people quickly retreated. It was too terrifying. Without the top powerhouses and Sage King weapons, no one would be able to contend with the other party. They could only quickly retreat and then contact the powerhouses in their sacred city. Damn it, the people of the Acheron Hall gritted their teeth. If it were not for their top powerhouses fighting with the Tomb Keeper, they would have come to kill this brat by now. Seeing that no one dared to come, Lin Xian snorted coldly, then turned around and looked at the flame intent. He took a deep breath and began to attack the flame intent. Streaks of 9 suns' divine fire turned into golden crows one after another, and began to seal it. This was a difficult battle, and the degree of danger was not inferior to that of Shan Yen and the demon ape. But fortunately, the surrounding people did not dare to attack again. So there was no need to worry. However, over 100,000 miles away, on a mountain peak, a figure appeared. Chapter 4292. Lin Xian furrowed his brows when he sensed the cold, murderous intent. In the next moment, he turned around and looked. He did not see the real body, only an afterimage. However, it still shocked him. That was because he was too familiar with that figure. Wan Jinyi was actually still alive. Previously, Wan Jinyi had fought against him, but he was defeated and left by Gu Feng. After that, he did not see Wan Jinyi again. And now, he saw Wan Jinyi's figure again. It was truly shocking. With Wan Jinyi's character and terrifying strength, he would definitely be a disaster in the future if he was left alive. However, when he wanted to look for Wan Jinyi again, Wan Jinyi had already left. Wan Jinyi had disappeared without a trace. And he had to deal with the Sage King's will with all his strength, so he did not have the time to pay attention to Wan Jinyi. With his full strength, he sealed the Sage King's will. Lin Xian put it into the void divine furnace and then let out a sigh of relief. That's great. He had obtained one. This way, he had a quota. Next, he had to get one for Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu. This way, they would be qualified to enter the buried Emperor Star. However, if possible, Lin Xian wanted to collect a few more. Because this thing was left behind by a Sage King, it was extremely useful for comprehending the Great Tao. When the people in the distance saw Lin Xian put away the flame intent, they were immediately shocked. Their eyes turned red and their faces were filled with envy. This guy had actually obtained the Sage King's will. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu naturally revealed a smile. The three of them turned into flowing lights and disappeared between heaven and earth. After the three of them left, the news quickly spread. So much so that many sacred cities knew about it. Lin Xian had actually obtained the Sage King's will. Some people sighed. As expected of Lin Wudi. He was indeed strong. It seemed that he was the first to obtain it. However, there were also some people who had gloomy expressions and were gnashing their teeth. Damn it, it was this kid again. These people were going crazy. They had to find the other party, kill him, and snatch the Sage King's will. The terrifying primordial battlefield was filled with an icy aura. However, a few streaks of light streaked across the blood-colored sky. Among them were people from the Primordial Grotto and Acheron Hall. Their faces were extremely cold. These people were the two who had attacked the old man earlier. They had thought that they would be able to kill the old man with their weapons. But who would have thought that the old man guarding the tomb would be way too frightening? This was especially the case for the countless tombs of powerful beings around him. Eventually, they all burst forth with a terrifying aura. He had almost killed them. Fortunately, they had brought along Saint King weapons, so they were able to escape. Otherwise, they would really be in danger. Damn it, that old bastard, I have to get rid of him if I have the chance. On the Acheron Hall's side, a sacred venerate called Zi Ming had an ugly expression. The leader of the Primordial Grotto team was someone called Lan Tiandu. He gritted his teeth and said, "Don't worry, there will be a chance." As they spoke, they quickly flew into the distance. On the other side, the old man guarding the tomb had also returned to the place where Lin Xian and the others had been trapped. His expression was cold. For so many years, no one had dared to be disrespectful to him. Now, these brats were actually so bold. His expression was cold. In the next moment, he took out the magistrate brush and scanned his surroundings. At the same time, he let out an ancient voice as if he was giving an order. The tombs around him all cracked open, and one figure after another walked out of the tombs. They were abnormally ferocious. They all respectfully waited for the old man guarding the tomb. However, the old man frowned because he realized that there was no movement at all from an inconspicuous small mound in the distance. What was going on? He waved the magistrate brush again and even took out a yama gong and knocked it. However, the small mound still did not move. In the next moment, the old man waved his hand and directly crushed the mound. He frowned, because he realized that there was nothing inside. Damn it, did that guy run away again? I'll definitely tear you into pieces when I find you. He snorted coldly. Then he formed a seal with his palm, and the black shadows that walked out of the tomb all spread out in all directions. The old man's lips curled into a sneer. Geniuses from all over the universe? I'll let you collect the Sage King's will for me. Lin Xian and the others were still searching, but they also realized that many people were looking for them. It seemed that those people wanted to snatch the Sage King's will from them. Lin Xian's expression was cold. It seemed that these guys really did not give up. As long as they dared to come, he would let them know what despair was. The three of them continued on their way. Lin Xian used his ocular technique and continued to investigate. A few days later, he was stunned. He discovered that on the ground in front of him, another huge creature had appeared. It was a city, an ancient city. At this moment, it was already in ruins. Many places had collapsed, forming cracks and abysses. However, this huge city was really too big. The remaining space was as far as the eye could see. As for Lin Xian, he felt a strange fluctuation from the city. He knew that there was definitely a Sage King's will inside. In addition to Lin Xian and the others, there were also people from all over. There were even people from inside the ancient city who had already come. It was obvious that the antiquity city had attracted everyone's attention. They entered the ancient city. Lin Xian and the others felt a sense of desolation. Countless years ago, this must have been a prosperous place, or even a martial holy land. However, after a great battle between Sage Kings, this place was completely ruined. After Lin Xian came down, he could see the broken array on the ground. Obviously, it was destroyed in the battle back then. However, Lin Xian carefully investigated and found that although some array formations were broken, they could still be used. It was just that after countless years, no one could activate them. As for the others, they exclaimed. They looked into the distance. There was a pagoda standing there, emitting a desolate aura. The pagoda was still in good condition. Moreover, there were countless runes around it that intertwined to form a barrier, isolating everything. Everyone walked in the direction of the pagoda. They saw that on the plaque above the pagoda, there were even a few words written in flamboyant calligraphy. Universe Pagoda. Many people gasped. How much courage and strength did one have to be to dare to use the name of the universe? Obviously, this pagoda was extremely extraordinary. There might be unknown treasures inside. This was the ancient battlefield. Those who participated in the battle back then were definitely sage kings. There might even be stronger existences. If they could get one of the things that these people left behind, it would be a great opportunity for them. Chapter 4293. The surrounding people began to discuss. Among them, a figure appeared. She stood on the street and lifted her head to look ahead. Her appearance caused the surrounding people to retract their gazes and look at her. She was from the Joyous Union Palace. She was indeed a celestial being. It was said that people from the Joyous Union Palace were the most suitable partners. Laughter could be heard, and there were even some experts who frowned. They could sense a peculiar aura from the other party. Could it be the will of the sage monarch? Had this person obtained the will of the sage monarch? Yushurchia's face also turned pale. To be honest, she had indeed obtained the will of the sage monarch. However, she had been separated from the people from the Joyous Union Palace and had come here alone. Faced with so many cold gazes, she was extremely nervous. Although she was also a genius, she really could not fight against so many people here. In such a dangerous situation, she did not think of her fellow disciples. Instead, she thought of Lin Xian. If that guy was here, he should be able to protect her. Then she shook her head. That kid had already made countless enemies. Would he provoke so many people for her? Even if she had already submitted to him, he did not take her seriously at all. Do you have the will of the sage monarch? If you do, hand it over and I'll let you live. At that moment, someone said coldly. It was an old man whose aura was abnormally powerful. On the other side, a middle-aged woman also walked out and said, "Take it. I'll guarantee your safety." The others also exclaimed. They did not expect the palace guard to have such a treasure. Yushurchia sighed. It seemed that she had obtained the will of the sage monarch by chance. She could no longer keep it. In that case, she could only save her life. At that moment, another young man walked over and said coldly, "Leave it to me. I'll take you to meteoric success." Yushurchia had already made up her mind. She looked around with a smile. At that moment, her body was emitting a strange aura. This was the special illusion of the Joyous Union Palace. She smiled. "I know you all want the will of the sage monarch. Fine, I can give it to you. Because I can't beat you. However, I only have one will of the sage monarch. You have so many experts. Who should I give it to?" As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. Then they forgot about the three masters. Was this woman trying to sow discord? She was really meticulous. This way, if a fight really broke out, the other party would have a chance to escape. The middle-aged woman also sneered. "You're so young, yet you're so scheming. However, this isn't something you need to consider. You only need to hand over the Sage King's will. As for who obtains it in the end, it has nothing to do with you." Was there no chance left? Yushurchia sighed when she saw that the three experts were unmoved. It seemed that her last bit of hope had disappeared. Since that was the case, then forget it. She smiled bitterly and said, "All right, I hope you can spare my life." As she spoke, she waved her hand and took out a treasure bottle. Inside the bottle, there was a blue light flickering. That was the will of water. It was abnormally terrifying and attracted countless gazes as soon as it appeared. Yushurchia used this opportunity to quickly retreat. She pushed him far away, but she didn't leave. At this moment, the Sage King's will became the only thing in the world. In front of him, The eyes of the three great experts were also blooming with terrifying light. Moreover, the three great experts in front of him didn't act rashly. Although they desperately wanted to obtain the item, no one dared to make the first move. This was because if the first person made a move, the other two would immediately join hands. The other two also had the same thought. Therefore, the atmosphere became somewhat tense for a moment. The surrounding people also had solemn expressions, but no one was interested. This scene was incomparably strange. However, at this moment, the void broke open, and a large golden hand directly grabbed down, enveloping the will of water. Terrifying power illuminated the surroundings. The surrounding people were stunned. The three great experts' pupils constricted. In the next moment, they were furious. Courting death. The item that the three of them didn't dare to rashly snatch had actually been snatched away by someone else. Who was it? No matter who it was, they would all destroy the other party's soul. The three of them roared and unleashed terrifying divine abilities at the golden hand. The void exploded in an instant. However, the speed of the golden palm was much faster than everyone had imagined. It turned into a golden bolt of lightning and instantly disappeared. Want to leave? The sacred domains on the three of them erupted, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 lands, completely enveloping the entire world. Want to run? Do you think I'll run? How laughable. In the sky, a cold voice came. Then, a figure like a god of war descended. The surrounding people all raised their heads and looked over. The three great experts did the same. In the next moment, their pupils constricted. Lin Wudi, it's you. They were really too shocked. They didn't expect it to be this kid. In the distance, Yu Shirchia was also stunned. Was it him? She had hoped that he would appear to save her. She didn't expect him to really come. However, when she saw the two beautiful figures beside Lin Xian, a trace of sadness appeared in her eyes. The person who came was indeed Lin Xian. Not only him, but Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu also came. The appearance of the three attracted the attention of everyone. The old man in front of the three great experts narrowed his eyes. I know who it is. So it's you, kid. What? Do you think you can be arrogant in front of us because you obtained a good ranking in the second round? The middle-aged woman also sneered. Kneel down now and obediently hand over the will of the Holy King, and I can give you a chance to live. The three of you bullied others and snatched the will of the Holy King from others. Do you have any shame? You are all reputable figures. Don't you think it's too shameless for you to join forces now? Lin Xian sneered. He was not afraid in the face of the three great experts. Kid, it seems that you really don't know what's good for you. Do you want to take the treasure from us? A hint of cold killing intent appeared in the old man's eyes. The old man was from Giant Spirit Pavilion, the woman was an expert from Guiyuan Hall, and the young man was from 7-Star Tower. Among them, the middle-aged woman also arrived. You've already provoked Acheron Hall, Demon City, and other holy cities. Now, do you still want to be enemies with us? If that's the case, I'm afraid not only will you die, but your Wushuang city will also be consigned to eternal damnation. What? Are you threatening me? Lin Xian sneered. Then he threw the will of water out and threw it to Yu Shirchia. Then he said, since you obtained it, you can keep it. Remember, when you obtain a treasure, don't give it to others so easily. This scene caused everyone to be stunned. My heavens, what did Lin Xian do? He'd actually handed over the Holy King's will to Yu Shirchia. Could it be that the two of them knew each other? Everyone was shocked. It turned out that Lin Xian did not want to take the treasure for himself, but to stand up for Yu Shirchia. Chapter 4294. The pupils of the three great experts also shrank. Was this kid trying to slap them in the face? Their expressions became incomparably gloomy. Yu Shirchia was also stunned. She looked at the sage monarch will in front of her in disbelief. Had he returned it to her? One had to know that this was the sage monarch will. With it, she could increase her strength and obtain the opportunity to go to the buried Emperor Star. Had he given it to her just like that? Yu Shirchia didn't know why, but she wanted to cry. Kid, it seems that you want to stand out. Your appetite is too big. You already have 2 fairies by your side, but you're still thinking about others. The middle-aged woman sneered. The 7-star pavilion's youth also had a gloomy expression. I advise you to obediently surrender. Otherwise, I'll send all of you to hell. Oh, is that so? Lin Xian turned his head and nailed the person from the 7-star pavilion. The corners of his mouth rose into a cold smile. Just you? You dare to look down on me? The 7-star pavilion's Xiao Bai was instantly enraged. Lin Xian's eyes revealed a domineering look. I still have the Sage Monarch will in my hand. If you have the strength, then directly snatch it. If you can defeat me, this Sage Monarch will be yours. Hearing this, countless people gasped. This Lin Wudi was too arrogant. Sure enough, a trace of biting cold killing intent appeared in Xiao Bai's eyes. No one had ever dared to look down on him like this. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. An extremely terrifying aura emerged from Xiao Bai's body. It had to be said that he was very powerful. He was an unparalleled existence among mid-stage holy venerables. He was much stronger than Wan Jinyi and the others. But Xiao Bai's figure swayed. Extremely terrifying stars flickered under his feet. With a step, he arrived in front of Lin Xian. Then he slapped his palm towards Lin Xian. The stars above formed a pattern that enveloped Lin Xian. At the same time, his other hand attacked Yushirchia. Starlight fell from the sky, forming a huge net. Not only did he want to kill Lin Xian and steal Lin Xian's Saint King intent, but he also wanted Yushirchia's will of water. He also wanted to take it away. He had to admit that he was really greedy. Lin Xian sneered. You want to attack me at the same time? Aren't you afraid of bursting? After he finished speaking, his fist glowed with light as he swung it forward, colliding with the starry sky pattern. The sound of the sky collapsing and the earth cracking could be heard. The starry sky pattern was directly broken, and the opponent's palm was beaten back. Xiao Bai's body also began to tremble, a look of shock appearing in his eyes. On the other hand, Lin Xian shook his head. You're so weak that it's pitiful. Even someone like you dares to attack me. I really don't know where your courage comes from. The surrounding people were all stunned. No way, Lin Wudi was already so strong. Xiao Bai's pupils shrank as well. How could this be? Although the other party was strong in the second stage, he was still an ant-like existence in his eyes. Could the other party actually block his attack now? Thinking of this, he was enraged. His palm turned into a finger again. Star finger. With a point of his finger, the stars were destroyed. This was a powerful unique skill of the 7-star tower. He didn't believe that the other party could block it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The golden hand slapped over fiercely. The flames on it were monstrous, as if it was burning everything. In an instant, it enveloped the star finger. The other party's palm made cracking sounds as it was directly broken. Blood flowed out. It wasn't over yet. The golden hand didn't stop at all. It slapped towards Xiao Bai's face. The blow landed on Xiao Bai's face. His handsome face was instantly deformed, and endless cracks appeared. His body was also sent flying like a kite. Boom! Xiao Bai vomited blood and was sent flying, overturning a mountain peak in the distance. The endless morning fog filled the air. The surrounding people were stunned. Their eyes almost fell out of their sockets. Heavens! What did they see? The incomparably powerful Xiao Bai was sent flying by Lin Xian's slap. This was too powerful. In the distance, Yushirchia was also dumbfounded. Although she was touched by Lin Xian's actions, she also knew that Lin Xian had made too many enemies, so she thought that it was better to take out this Sage King's will. At least, she wouldn't make any more enemies. But who would have thought that Lin Xian was actually so powerful? He sent his opponent flying with a slap. This stunned her on the spot. The other two experts also frowned. A hint of seriousness appeared in their eyes. To be honest, they had never taken the other party seriously before. But now, the strength that the other party displayed greatly shocked them. It seemed that the other party just casually attacked, and it was already so terrifying. This kid's strength actually increased so quickly. They carefully investigated, and then their pupils shrank. The other party was already a middle-stage holy venerable. If they remembered correctly, the other party was only a peak small saint in the second stage. Now, he had broken through two major realms in such a short time. What exactly had the other party experienced? The mountain range in the distance split open, and a figure flew out. It was Xiao Bai. At this moment, his expression was extremely ugly. Although his injuries had healed, he was still furious. After being slapped in the face in public, how could he still have the face to appear in front of others in the future? Although he was angry, he didn't immediately attack, because the strength that the other party had displayed just now had really shocked him. Lin Xian looked at him and said indifferently, "Yes, I have indeed offended many holy cities, but whether it is the Acheron Hall, the Myriad Sword Pavilion, or the Great Desolate Mansion, I will not let them off. The experts of these holy cities have also died at my hands. Do you want to follow in their footsteps?" Xiao Bai's whole body was covered in cold sweat. He knew that the person in front of him was a demon king. If he really angered the other party wouldn't care about their identity or background. He would kill them all. So for a moment he stood there in a daze. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he once again looked towards the old man and the middle-aged woman, before he coldly asked, "What about the two of you? Are you still going to go against me?" The two of them took a deep breath. Stars flickered in their eyes. In the next moment, they made a decision. The middle-aged woman smiled. "Young Master Lin, you live up to your reputation. We were just joking with you. That's right, I just wanted to see your skills. How could I be your enemy?" These two experts didn't have any killing intent at all. In fact, they even had a trace of flattery. The surrounding people went crazy. Were these still the three great experts? Previously, these three people were high and mighty, looking down on everything. However, in front of Lin Xian, they didn't have any temper at all. They had originally thought that there would be a fierce battle, but who would have thought that Lin Xian's strength would suppress everything? In the distance, Yu Shirqie was also stunned. Was this her master? He was already so strong. Originally, he had thought that if his strength increased, he might be able to break free from the other party's control. But now, it seemed that it would be difficult for him to do so in this lifetime. Seeing that the three of them didn't dare to attack again, Lin Xian retracted his gaze and turned to look at Yu Shirqie. Then he said, "Take that will. It's very compatible with your bloodline." Chapter 4295. Thank you, young master. Yu Shirqie was incomparably grateful. Lin Xian did not say anything. After all, Yu Shirqie was also one of his people. However, he was very surprised. He did not expect that the other party could actually obtain the will of a sage king. It seemed that the other party's fortuitous opportunity was not small. Lin Xian's gaze shifted away from the other party and then looked towards the pagoda in front of them. He said, "Since we've met, then follow me to see what's inside that pagoda." Around the pagoda, there were even more powerhouses. The arrival of Lin Xian and the others naturally attracted countless attention. One gaze after another flew towards them. In fact, some of them even carried monstrous killing intent. Lin Xian snorted coldly. His body emitted a powerful aura. Murong Qingqing and the others were the same. They executed terrifying laws and counterattacked. The sound of the array formation rang out. Everyone was surprised. Although this team had few people, their strength was powerful. Therefore, everyone retracted their gazes and looked towards the pagoda again. Let's see how to enter the pagoda first. Outside the pagoda, there was an array formation protecting it. If they wanted to enter, they had to first crack the array formation. Someone could not help but make a move and rushed forward. That person's body emitted an incomparable light. Clearly, he was an expert. His body emitted a terrifying Dao light as he charged directly towards the array formation. The array formation seemed to have been activated, blooming with an incomparable aura. Bolts of thunder spread out in all directions. A sea of thunder rose, enveloping the entire space. Countless cracks appeared, carrying a power that could destroy everything. The surrounding people felt this power and their expressions changed. Thunder array formation? The person who attacked the array formation previously was also blasted back by the thunder and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. This scene caused everyone to be even more shocked. Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. Clearly, He could see that this was an extremely terrifying thunder array formation. Murong Qingqing said with a frown. This was not an ordinary array formation. It looked similar to thunder tribulation. Thunder tribulation was a very dangerous thing for anyone because the slightest carelessness would cause them to die. Therefore, when they encountered similar thunder again, these people were on guard. After the initial shock, the surrounding people all stopped what they were doing. Soon they discussed again and then rushed in. Clearly, although thunder was terrifying, they were determined to obtain it. Then let's go. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His body emitted a radiant light. He led Murong Qingqing and the other two and flew forward. When they entered the sea of lightning, terrifying lightning bolts shot towards them. It caused the space around them to shatter continuously. They felt an extremely terrifying aura of destruction, as if it wanted to tear them apart. Damn it! Not you! However, without the laws, it was much more difficult for saints to withstand the lightning. They could only rely on their physique and sacred artifacts. Lin Xian appeared to be much more relaxed. Even if he did not use the laws, just his 9-yang divine body was incomparably powerful. As for Murong Qingqing and the others, they took out their saint artifacts to resist. Lin Xian even formed a seal, forming a 9-sun phantom that enveloped Murong Qingqing and the other two. The three of them heaved a sigh of relief. With such a powerful defense, they didn't have to worry anymore. However, Lin Xian's eyes emitted a golden radiance as he looked in all directions. Who knew what kind of changes would occur in such a terrifying formation? Not long after, he took a deep breath because he had indeed discovered some changes. He found that some lightning suddenly emerged in the depths of the Sea of Thunder. The lightning was extremely terrifying, as if it had turned into the shape of a sword. It carried a violent aura. Lin Xian was shocked. Sword-shaped lightning? This was an extremely terrifying existence among the lightning. Once it was encountered, it would be extremely powerful. Even Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless in the face of such lightning. The others also gradually discovered it because these sword-shaped lightning were like flying arrows, flying over and swaying in the surroundings. Murong Qingqing took a deep breath, and a hint of caution appeared in her beautiful eyes. She could clearly feel the powerful energy coming from above. The others also cried out in alarm, and some even attacked. Immediately, the sword-shaped lightning exploded. The front was engulfed by the lightning, and many people vomited blood as they were sent flying. In an instant, countless cries of alarm sounded. Lin Xian's expression was also solemn. What should he do? Yu Shijie asked with a frown. She was of the water element, and in this lightning she was very restrained. Leave all this thunder to me. Others might be afraid, but Lin Xian was indeed incomparably happy. This was the best power to temper the body. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body needed to be tempered thousands of times. Now that he had encountered this lightning, how could he miss it? With a wave of his hand, countless laws flew out in all directions, immediately triggering the sword-shaped lightning. Endless lightning exploded, enveloping him, causing countless people to turn their heads. In the next moment, they cried out in alarm. No way, is there someone so stupid? He's dead. A cold laugh sounded. However, in the sea of lightning, Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body bloomed with incomparable light. Strange patterns appeared on it, as if it had turned into a golden vortex, and it began to absorb the power of thunder. Gradually, the surrounding thunder disappeared, and Lin Xian's figure appeared. Above his body, there were still arcs of electricity flashing, making rumbling sounds. It was truly terrifying. Lin Xian was shocked as well. Although the process seemed simple, the pain during the process was no less than the lightning tribulation. If it weren't for his strong will, he wouldn't have been able to endure. When the surrounding people saw another person walk out of the sea of lightning, they immediately cried out in alarm. No way, that guy actually blocked it. It's that kid. Damn it, how is his body so strong? The surrounding experts cried out in alarm, and their eyes were filled with shock. Those who could come here were all geniuses among geniuses, but even they didn't dare to resist the sword lightning. not to mention triggering so many of them. However, Lin Xian dared to, and he was unscathed. He even used the thunder to temper his body. It was really enviable. Next, Lin Xian used this method to open a path. He stood in front of the group and attracted all the sword lightning in the surroundings to him. He refined and absorbed it. Behind him, Murong Qingqing and the other two passed through safely. Gradually, Lin Xian came to the depths. His speed also slowed down. After all, after absorbing so many thunder, his body was also under great pressure. In the end, he couldn't absorb any more. Lin Xian exhaled. His exhalation was filled with terrifying lightning. He didn't know when he would reach the end. Xin Jingqiu also frowned slightly. They walked for a distance, and then Lin Xian stopped. There seemed to be a situation. Xin Jingqiu frowned again, and her cosmic form appeared behind her. Chapter 4296. Lin Xian gave a signal to the hillmen to pay attention. At the same time, the golden light in his eyes shone again as he looked towards the depths of the sea of lightning. The next moment he was stunned. He sucked in a breath of cold air and even took a step back. That was because he saw endless lightning intertwining in the depths of the sea of lightning, forming a humanoid lightning. The humanoid lightning was also formed by thunder, but its power was even more terrifying than the lightning formed by swords. Generally speaking, humanoid lightning was very rare. It would only appear in the heavenly punishment. Who would have thought that a humanoid lightning would appear here? Murong Qingqing and the others gasped when they heard about it. Their nerves became extremely tense. What should we do? Xin Jingqiu asked. It seems like this thing has its eyes on us. Indeed, the humanoid lightning in front of them was staring at them like lightning. It made their scalps go numb. Even with Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body, he could not convert such powerful lightning into energy and absorb it. Therefore, he could only think of other ways. Lin Xian said, "Let me do it." He walked out and took out a devouring treasure bottle. It was given to him by unparalleled Sage King. Previously, it could absorb the energy of the sacred hall and devour it. Who knows whether or not he could store the lightning of this person in it. In the next moment, Lin Xian activated the devouring treasure bottle and flew forward. The devouring treasure bottle shot out a devouring light. A black hole kept spinning and shrouded the humanoid lightning. It wanted to devour it. The humanoid lightning took a step forward. Unparalleled thunder exploded from its body, causing the surrounding space to crack. The terrifying destructive aura made everyone's scalps go numb. Even Lin Xian's face changed. Not good. The aura was too strong. To be honest, he was not confident. If unparalleled Sage King was here personally, he would definitely have a way to deal with the humanoid lightning. But now, there was only the devouring treasure bottle. No one would know. Fortunately, the human-shaped lightning had only just formed. Thus, it was still swallowed by the treasure-devouring bottle in the end. Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief and placed a seal on the bottle. Did he succeed? Yu Shichie's face paled. Murong Qingqing was indeed somewhat happy. This was great. If she encountered those powerful enemies in the future, she could directly release the humanoid lightning. Indeed, Lin Xian also nodded. He also had the same idea. After all, the enemy he was facing now was too powerful. Many of them were late-stage holy venerables, and some even had holy king weapons. Now that he had the humanoid lightning, it could be considered as another trump card. In the future, if he really encountered a difficult opponent, he could release the humanoid lightning. Let's go. They continued their journey. Without the threat of the human-shaped lightning, their speed increased again. However, after half a day, they stopped again. Lin Xian was shocked. As he spoke, he quickly stopped and retracted all of his aura. After that, Murong Qingqing and the others were stunned. They didn't understand what was going on. However, he still completely concealed his aura. Lin Xian did the same. It was as if they didn't exist. However, his eyes bloomed with extremely terrifying golden runes as he looked into the distance. In the distance, there was a figure in the sea of lightning. The aura he emitted was abnormally special. Murong Qingqing and the others also saw it. They were instantly shocked. Who was this figure? She was too surprised because she found that the aura on his body was completely different from that of the other holy cities. Who was this person? Was there anyone else here other than them? Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He felt a sense of danger, so he said, "Let's go." The few of them quietly retreated. However, at this moment, the mysterious silhouette in front suddenly turned around. A frightening ray of light shot toward them. Who was it? With a low shout, the surrounding thunder was continuously destroyed. At the same time, Lin Xian felt a powerful gaze piercing through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. He sighed. Oh no, this person was too powerful. With their current cultivation, there was no way they could hide at all. Thinking of this, he took out the void beast's skin and covered the few of them. Then he used his spatial ability and quickly left. At the front, the mysterious man did not discover anyone. However, his brows were tightly knitted together. A low voice was heard. Space law? He snorted coldly, then his figure gradually disappeared. At the same time, on the other side of the thunder, Lin Xian and the others were hiding in the void. They were extremely nervous. After waiting for a while, they realized that no one was chasing after them. This made them sigh in relief. It was too dangerous. They didn't expect this ancient battlefield to be so terrifying. There was actually such a person. Lin Xian felt that the other party's aura was no weaker than that of a holy ruler. Could it be that there was really a holy ruler here? Who was that person? Shen Jingqiu was also puzzled. Lin Xian shook his head. Forget it, don't worry about him. It's best not to meet that person again. That person is very dangerous. Let's go. It seems that we are already very close to the pagoda. The few of them nodded and continued on their way. They continued to fly towards the pagoda. Finally, they saw a black figure standing in front of them. It was the pagoda. The few of them smiled. Lin Xian realized that they weren't the only ones who came. There were many figures around them, and these people's auras were abnormally powerful. Obviously, these people had their own trump cards, which was why they could come here. Of course, in the process, some people must have died in the Thunder Sea. The appearance of Lin Xian and the others attracted the attention of others. Everyone turned their heads again. At the same time, another person came out from behind. This place was becoming more and more lively. Those people snorted coldly and ignored Lin Xian. Instead, they continued to look at the pagoda in front of them. A hint of passion appeared in their eyes. At the entrance of the pagoda, there were already a few figures standing there. These people's auras were even more powerful. Among them were the Primordial Grotto, the people from Thunder God City and the Kunlun Pavilion. The Primordial Grotto. They turned their heads and stared at Lin Xian with piercing, killing intent in their eyes. However, the people from the Kunlun Pavilion were delighted. They saw Murong Qingqing. Was that kid going to make a move? The people from the Primordial Grotto had extremely cold expressions. Ignore that guy. I've already entered the pagoda myself. Anyway, that kid can't escape in this primordial battlefield. It won't be too late to kill him after we obtain the treasure. The few of them discussed and decided to make a move on the pagoda first. Lin Xian and the others met up with the people from the Kunlun Pavilion. The few of them heaved a sigh of relief. With the powerful existence of the Kunlun Pavilion here, they didn't have to worry about being ambushed for the time being. How is this place? Murong Qingqing asked. An old man from the Kunlun Pavilion said. Although we're here, there's clearly a seal at the entrance of the pagoda. I'm afraid we have to break it before we can enter. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret ability to observe. He discovered that there was indeed a mysterious force at the entrance of the pagoda. At the same time, his pupils constricted. Chapter 4297. Lin Xian sensed that there was still a power in the surroundings that shocked him. The others couldn't sense it, but Lin Xian's heaven's secret child prodigy could clearly sense that this danger was getting closer and closer. Lin Xian's face turned pale. He said, "Not good. I think we should retreat first." Retreat? The people of the Kunlun Pavilion were stunned. What was going on? Some of them had disdain in their eyes. Was this the legendary Lin Wudi? Why was he so timid? The saintess of the Kunlun Pavilion was actually with such a person? Those who had such thoughts were all the young geniuses of the Kunlun Pavilion. After all, they also hoped to win the attention of Murong Qingqing. So at this moment, they all looked at Lin Xian with disdain. The experts of the Kunlun Pavilion also frowned. A middle-aged man asked, "What did young Master Lin discover?" "There is a dangerous aura approaching. I think it's best to leave this place first." Dangerous aura? A few of them were stunned. There were even late-stage holy venerables among them. They carefully sensed and then said, "We didn't discover anything." Murong Qingqing said, "We believe in Brother Xian. Let's leave this place first." All right, those experts nodded. Since even the saintess had said so, they would first retreat to a certain distance. Some of the young geniuses were very unhappy. I want to see if there is any danger when the time comes. How can this brat continue pretending?" These people quickly retreated. It seemed like they wanted to get away from the pagoda. This scene caused the surrounding people to be shocked. The people of the immemorial grotto turned their heads and revealed a look of confusion. What was going on? One of them sneered. "They must have left because they were afraid of our attack. How can these trash be our match?" Their eyes were filled with disdain. However, at this moment, the void split open. An extremely terrifying aura surged out in all directions. Then, a terrifying black shadow appeared and slammed down. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The people of the immemorial grotto and Thunder God City were directly sent flying. They vomited large mouthfuls of blood. What was going on? The surrounding people were so frightened that their scalps went numb. When they felt this terrifying aura, their expressions became incomparably unsightly. In fact, they even saw 2 late-stage holy exalted experts being sent flying. The people of the Kunlun Pavilion were also stunned. Soon they broke out in cold sweat. If they hadn't retreated back then, perhaps they would be the ones vomiting blood right now. When they thought of this, their faces were filled with shock. Those older generation figures sucked in a deep breath and said, "Many thanks to young Master Lin for the reminder." The young sky prides of the Kunlun Pavilion also turned pale. Previously, they had mocked Lin Xian for being a coward. Who would have thought that Lin Xian had really detected the danger? But they didn't know anything. What right did they have to laugh at such a person? For a moment, those people put away their contempt. Lin Xian shook his head. His frown deepened. The reason for that was because the energy fluctuation coming from the front was simply too terrifying. Everyone looked up. In the next moment, they saw a bone claw appear in the void. It was a white bone claw that floated there. It was abnormally terrifying. However, there was only one palm and nothing else. This caused everyone to be stunned. A palm could easily injure a late-stage holy exalted? Then whose palm was this? Was it left behind by a Saint King? Everyone was bewildered. They carefully examined it and found that the palm's aura was very strong. However, the surface was already in tatters. It was clear that after countless years, it was no longer the same as it used to be. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. If it was an intact palm, none of them would be able to block it. But now it was covered in cracks. They might be able to resist it. Damn it. The people of the immemorial grotto flew over from afar. Their expressions were ugly, and there was blood on their bodies. Among them, a few experts stared at the white bone palm. Their eyes shone with a piercing cold light. It's just a mere guardian palm. How dare it injure us? The experts of Thunder God City also flew over and gritted their teeth. If it wasn't because it was too sudden, how could they have been injured? These people's eyes were cold. Then someone said, "Let's go. Let's break this guardian palm together and enter the pagoda." It's actually a guardian palm? Shen Jingqiu was also shocked. Then she said, "Big Brother Xian, I've heard some legends about this guardian palm. It's a treasure refined by a powerful existence after its death. It's used to protect. Guardian palms usually have guardian light on them. Once Feng Yu could absorb it, he would become even stronger. Although this guardian palm is already shattered, there should still be guardian light on it. If you are able to do so, your 9-yang divine body and physique might be able to become stronger again." Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Really? That's great. If that was the case, Then he had to fight for it. Thinking of this, a piercing cold light appeared in his eyes. However, when he saw the countless experts around him, he said, "There's no rush. Let's wait and see." Indeed, there were many people here. Furthermore, those who could come were all peak experts. Many of them were late-stage experts with many trump cards in their hands. These people also quickly made their moves. Lei Xinqing and the people from the immemorial grotto also quickly made their moves. Terrifying laws and mystic skills surged forward. These people had joined forces at this moment. Clearly, they wanted to break through the protective palm and enter the pagoda. Buzz. The sound of the ground shaking could be heard. The guardian palm released light and then swept out. The multicolored light on it was too terrifying. With one strike, it tore apart the world. Boom, boom, boom. The guardian palm clashed with the magic skills and laws in the surroundings. Terrifying sounds of thunder and rain resounded. Clumps of energy spread out in all directions. Many people retreated. Lin Xian looked forward. His eyes shone with an incomparable light. He was prepared to make his move at any moment. The reason for that was because he knew that although the guardian palm was powerful, it would definitely not be able to withstand the attacks of so many experts for long. Indeed, the ones leading the charge were late-stage holy venerates. They had rich combat experience. Every time they attacked the shattered parts of the guardian palm. This caused the cracks on the guardian palm to become even more terrifying. However, these people were secretly on guard against each other, afraid that someone would sneak attack them. Hence, they did not use their full strength. Even so, it did not take long for the cracks on the guardian palm to become extremely terrifying. Then with a kacha sound, cracks actually appeared. Chapter 4298. Seeing this scene, the late-stage Saint Venerables were the same. Their eyes shone with a cold light. They could naturally feel the extremely strong power in it. They had to get that power. At the same time, Lin Xian's eyes also shone with an incomparable light. He was also about to make a move to snatch the guardian light. But this time, he directly used the void escape to appear in front of Yi Futian in an instant. Then, he grabbed the guardian light with his palm. This sudden turn of events caused everyone to be stunned. No one dared to believe that someone dared to snatch food from the tiger's mouth in front of this group of experts. Was he tired of living? The eyes of the experts also shone with a cold light. Their gazes pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. "It's you. You reckless thing. We originally wanted to let you go, but you actually dared to snatch what we wanted." The eyes of the old man from the immemorial grotto were filled with cold, killing intent. The faces of the others also darkened. In the face of so many threats and encirclement, Lin Xian remained unfazed. Countless runes appeared on his palm and began to seal. Soon he completely grasped the guardian light. It was a ball of light that bloomed with a mysterious radiance. Lin Xian smirked as he sensed the power emanating from it. "Very well, I'll take it." With a flip of his hand, he put it away. "How dare you!" This action directly angered the surrounding people. Terrifying auras shone in their eyes, and a monstrous power swept out. "What, you want to fight?" Lin Xian looked around and sneered. "The guardian light is not yours. I got it with my own ability. What are you unhappy about?" Damn it, the people from the immemorial grotto were so angry that they vomited blood. They were the ones who shattered it, but the other party was the last to rush up. They wanted to kill him immediately. However, at this moment, the people from the Kunlun Pavilion also walked over and stood behind Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "I'll take it. If you're unhappy, you can fight. I'll accompany you to the end." A powerful aura emanated from his body. What should they do? These people discussed. Naturally, it was to kill him. The people from the Taigu Grotto gritted their teeth. They definitely couldn't tolerate someone snatching their treasures from them. However, one of Lei Shen's experts frowned. This brat was extremely strange. He had many cards in his hands. They were really going to fight. We may not be able to kill him, and now he has the Kunlun Pavilion behind him. Now was not the time to kill it. It was better to enter the pagoda first. Damn it. The people from the archaic grotto gritted their teeth. They could only say that they would let him live a little longer. The people from the primordial grotto waved their hands and charged towards the pagoda. The surrounding people were stunned. They couldn't believe that these sacred cities didn't make a move against Lin Xian. Were these people afraid of Lin Xian? When they thought of this possibility, their faces were filled with shock. However, they quickly regained their senses and rushed toward the pagoda. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He smiled, took out the light of protection, and began to absorb it. He could feel that his body had become stronger again. After a period of time, he said, "Let's go and see what treasures are in this pagoda. Maybe we can find a few more sacred king wills." The group of people flashed and rushed inside. Previously, the light of protection was still at the entrance. However, at this moment, the light of protection was gone, so they didn't encounter any obstacles when they entered. After entering, they realized that the first level was extremely vast. It was like a world of its own. It was much bigger than they had imagined. There were many passageways inside, and there were even various secret chambers arranged in various ways. It was dazzling. Some people directly rushed into the secret chamber at the side, but they quickly rushed back. After searching more than 10 secret chambers in a row, these people came out and said angrily, "Damn it, there's nothing." They originally thought that there should be countless treasures inside, but now they didn't find anything. The people from the Kunlun Pavilion also went to check, but their expressions weren't good. Lin Xian used the heavenly secret child prodigy. His eyes flickered. At the same time, someone beside him said, "Could it be that they're all here? Damn it, who did it? How could they be so fast?" An elder from the Kunlun Pavilion said, "The light of protection is still there. If it was there before, no one should have entered. Let's go, there's nothing on the first level. Let's go to the second level." Lin Xian looked around, then shook his head. The people of the Kunlun Pavilion also valued Lin Xian very much. Therefore, they all nodded in agreement when he said that. "Let's go to the second level then." After the others searched around, they didn't find anything, so they went to the second level. However, there was nothing on the second level. Other than that, the third and fourth levels were the same. Finally, they came to the fifth level. The expressions of these people were already extremely unsightly. Could it be that there's nothing in the pagoda? Damn it. Did someone come here and take it away? This was because they knew that the primordial battlefield was the third stage of the Tao discussion. Naturally, it wasn't the first time someone came here. Before this, the other people who had participated in the Tao debate must have been here. If they can't take it out, is there nothing here before this? But it doesn't seem like it. There are no traces of anyone here. For a moment, everyone frowned. There was also nothing on the fifth level, so they were about to go crazy. Lin Xian's brows were tightly furrowed as he looked around. Suddenly, he looked at the wall. There were some marks there, which seemed to be traces of a fight. Lin Xian walked forward and looked carefully. "Let's go and take a look." The geniuses from the Kunlun Pavilion knew how terrifying Lin Xian's eye technique was, so they quickly followed him. One of the geniuses looked forward carefully. There were some traces of a fight on the wall, and one of them was a blade mark. Although the mark was very faint, the genius suddenly vomited blood and was sent flying. What's going on? The others were stunned, and they all used their laws to defend themselves. The people from the Kunlun Pavilion were also shocked, and they quickly helped the genius up. An expert from the Kunlun Pavilion asked, "What happened? Who attacked you?" That person said, "Blade mark." There was a terrifying aura left on it. After saying that, his face became even paler. "What? Blade mark?" The surrounding people looked over, and Lin Xian was even more nervous. He was the closest, so he knew best. The genius from before directly used his soul to envelop the blade mark, wanting to examine it carefully. Chapter 4299. This great Tao was very terrifying. It had obviously surpassed the Holy Venerate and was left behind by the Holy King. It seemed to be related to the Holy King's will. The others also looked over. When their souls approached, They felt an extremely strong power of the great path permeating the air. They didn't dare to act rashly. It was the Holy King's will. This mark was related to the Holy King's will. These people's eyes were all red. It seemed that it wasn't that there were no treasures here, but that there was a huge treasure. It was even possible that the Holy King's will was here. Thinking of this, the atmosphere in many holy cities began to change. Terrifying power flowed between heaven and earth. It seemed that a big battle was about to break out. At this moment, the people from Thunder God City frowned. He said, "You don't want a shocking battle to happen, right? So I have a suggestion." "What suggestion do you have?" The people from returning Origin Palace asked coldly. A middle-aged man walked out from Thunder God City. His name was Lei Qianzi. He was very strong. At this moment, he swept his gaze and said in a deep voice, "There are so many of us, and it's very likely that there's only one Holy King's will. So I think it's better to rely on our own opportunities. Every holy city will send people up to communicate with the Holy King's will. Whoever can get the approval will get this thing." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone started to discuss. Thunder God City actually made such a request. It seemed that there were many people from Thunder God City who came this time, no matter how strong their confidence was. Some people were also unwilling to rashly start a battle. After all, at their level, once a battle started, the consequences would be very tragic. "I agree." The people from Taigu Grotto stood up and nodded. They were also very confident about this. No one else objected. "Since that was the case, let's begin." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone took a deep breath. It seemed that everyone only had one chance, and no one dared to try it easily. After all, the domineering power that came from above made everyone's hair stand on end. No one dared to come? Then I'll come. An expert from the Grand Valley Grotto walked out, attracting the attention of countless people. Everyone held their breaths. The middle-aged man's expression was also solemn. His soul surged forward. On the wall in front of him, other than a saber mark, there was also a mark and a terrifying fragment. The saint of Taigu Grotto knew how domineering the saber mark was. Therefore, he didn't dare to look at the saber mark. Instead, he enveloped the mark with his soul. His soul enveloped it, but he didn't feel any danger, which made him breathe a sigh of relief. In the next moment, a smile appeared on his face as he walked forward. The others also held their breaths. "Isn't that right? This guy is the first to try. Could it be that he will obtain a great opportunity?" However, Lin Xian's pupils shrank as he sneered. "Idiot!" The people of the primordial grotto were proud. In their eyes, Lin Xian was jealous. However, in the next moment, they were dumbfounded. The imprint suddenly exploded like the shadow of a god, instantly piercing through the body of this saint sovereign. With a bang, the Lord was sent flying, and a transparent mark appeared on his body. The sudden appearance of this scene really shocked everyone. What's going on? Was this mark also so terrifying? At this moment, everyone's faces turned ugly. Only Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Since you're trash, get out." He waved his sleeve, and a gust of wind blew that person away. Damn it. The people of the primordial grotto had extremely ugly expressions. Is he provoking us? However, they didn't make a move. They wanted to see what the kid had to be so arrogant. Is Lin Wudi going to make a move? Everyone became nervous. They didn't know if Lin Wudi could make a move. How can this kid do that? Who does he think he is? Even so, he couldn't withstand such a violent power. While everyone was discussing, Lin Xian walked over. In the next moment, a cold light burst out from his eyes and surged forward. His target was also the mark. When his golden gaze landed on the mark, he didn't feel any threat. He knew that the mark was extremely terrifying. Sure enough, in the next moment, a terrifying aura came from the mark. The power was like 10,000 horses galloping, about to shatter heaven and earth. The void around Lin Xian continued to shatter. His powerful aura was so oppressive that the people around him found it hard to breathe. It was so terrifying. The surrounding people all put up their defenses to resist. Murong Qingqing and the others were also nervous to the extreme. "Lin Xian, are you okay?" Lin Xian felt a huge force enveloping him, as if his body was about to be torn apart. "Block it for me." In the next moment, his black hair danced wildly, and the golden light on his body bloomed into the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Then he also threw out a punch. This punch seemed to be able to topple mountains and overturn seas, covering the sky and earth as it charged forward. It collided with the mark fiercely, and it was like a thunderclap. The terrifying power shattered the void. Lin Xian's face became incomparably pale. His body also began to tremble. Seeing this scene, everyone became nervous. The people of the Primordial Grotto and Thunder God City revealed a cold smile. Just as they had thought, how could this brat possibly withstand it? However, their smiles soon froze, because they discovered that Lin Xian's body had stabilized again. That fist was like the sun, and it was even more dazzling. And the power of that mark was slowly disappearing. How is that possible? This kid blocked it. Has he been recognized? A look of shock appeared in their eyes. In the next moment, they burst out with a cold aura and then rushed forward. At the same time, Lin Xian's eyes were also flickering. To be honest, the moment he collided with the imprint, he saw a shocking scene. It was an ancient battlefield in the primordial era, and there was a terrifying figure like a god. He threw out a mark, and that attack seemed to have fallen from the sky. The sky fell and the earth cracked. It could overturn the sky. This mark finally blasted on the wall. In the blur, a voice could be heard. This was called the seal of the human ruler. Lin Xian took a deep breath. The seal of the human ruler should be the name of this mark. It seemed that it was indeed left behind by a sage ruler. But light flickered, and the mark flew over from the wall, blooming with incomparable light, and floated towards Lin Xian. Then, it floated in the void. This scene caused countless people to exclaim. Could it be that this mark was also the will of a sage ruler? They felt that it was really too incredible. Lin Xian was also overjoyed. He didn't expect that he would obtain another sage ruler's will. At the same time, he also obtained a unique skill, the seal of the human ruler. Thinking of this, he stretched out his golden hand and grabbed towards the front of the operation. However, in the next moment, an extremely terrifying killing intent came from behind him, as if it was going to pierce through him. Please recommend, collect, reward, monthly vote, subscribe. Thank you for your support. Chapter 4300. Feeling the killing intent, Lin Xian frowned. The others, especially Murong Qingcheng and the others, became extremely nervous because they realized that the people of Thunder God City from the Primordial Grotto had made their move. At this critical moment, Lin Xian fused with the mark. At the same time, he used his space magic and disappeared into the void. 2 terrifying attacks tore everything apart. However, they only hit an afterimage. Damn it, did that kid run away? Don't worry, his people are still here. They can't run far. Lightning flashed in the eyes of the people of Thunder God City. The 2 of them looked in all directions. In the next moment, they saw Lin Xian appear in another space. Kid, hand over the thing and I'll spare your life. The people of Primordial Grotto said in a cold voice. What if I don't hand it over? Lin Xian snorted. At this moment, his palm had already fused with the mark. He felt a terrifying aura flowing quickly. In his mind, he was also quickly accepting the inheritance of this super skill. Not good, hurry up. He has completely fused with the thing. The people of Thunder God City saw this scene and roared in anger. Lei Chinsa's body flickered and he instantly charged forward. A terrifying force erupted like a sea of lightning, spreading out in all directions. The surrounding people's faces changed. Retreat quickly. They knew that a great battle was about to break out. The surrounding people were pushed far away. Fortunately, the space inside the pagoda was big enough. Even so, they still put up their defenses to resist. Lei Tian's turned into a bolt of lightning and charged directly at Lin Xian. In an instant he appeared in front of Lin Xian. Then he punched out fiercely. But Lin Xian waved his hand and boundless flames danced, forming a huge flaming mountain in front of him. With a clang, Lei's fist collided with the flaming mountain, erupting with unparalleled power. The entire pagoda shook violently. However, the flaming mountain did not shatter. This kid's physique is too strong. Countless people sucked in a breath of cold air. Lei Qianse was a late-stage Saint Venerable while Lin Xian was only a mid-stage Saint Venerable. There was a difference of one realm between them. Their physiques were actually on par with each other. It was truly unbelievable. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body was originally very powerful. In addition, he had absorbed the protective light earlier, so he did not directly use his palm. Instead, he used the flames to form a huge mountain to block it. This meant that his physique had become even stronger than before. This guardian light is really a good item. It would be great if I could get more of it, Lin Xian thought to himself. On the other side, Lei Qianse's face turned extremely cold. Damn it, the other party was actually so strong. Is that all you've got? It's not that impressive. No wonder you couldn't obtain the Sage King's will. When he heard Lin Xian's sneer, Lei Qianse was thoroughly enraged. He roared and the laws on his body surged. Thunder Tyrant Fist. Terrifying bolts of lightning swirled and intertwined with one another. Next, countless bolts of lightning transformed into a massive fist. It contained a violent destructive aura. Then, it ruthlessly attacked Lin Xian. Many people cried out in surprise. This was an extremely domineering fist technique. When a late-stage Saint Venerable used it, it was absolutely terrifying. Most people of the same level would not dare to take it head-on. Murong Qingqing and the others had serious expressions. They were incomparably nervous. On the other side, in the ancient grotto, a cold smile appeared on their faces. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He could naturally feel the terrifying power of this fist. In the next moment, he even raised his hand and formed a seal. Then he pressed it forward. This palm seemed ordinary, as if it did not contain any power. It was very light. Countless people were shocked. This kid had already given up on resisting? However, in the next moment, the seal changed. The seal emitted an extremely terrifying aura with a violent power. It was as if a monarch had descended upon the world. Then, it fiercely slammed forward. When the surrounding people sensed the change in the aura, their expressions all changed. How was this possible? Everyone went crazy. How could the other party know such a powerful martial art? Lei Qianse's expression changed wildly. Damn it. He realized that he had sensed this power before. It came from the palm shadow. Now that the other party could use it, what did it mean? Had the other party completely obtained it? Just as he was shocked, the seal directly fell and pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Then, it collided with the Thunder Tyrant Fist. Boom! The two forces collided and the great Tao of the world exploded. Everyone felt their hearts tremble. They could not help but want to kneel down. In the terrifying scene, cracks appeared on the Thunder Tyrant Fist. Then, the thunder runes shattered. Lei Qianse was also sent flying. He kept roaring and spitting out blood. His expression became extremely ugly. The surrounding people were all stunned. Their eyes were wide open. They could not believe it. Had the Thunder Tyrant Fist been broken? That was an extremely domineering fist technique. What exactly was the seal that the other party used? Why did it feel even more terrifying? The people from the primordial grotto frowned. Damn it, what was going on? Had the kid obtained the inheritance? Lei Qianse also roared crazily. You can use that seal. You got it. That's right. What else do you want to ask? I'll tell you everything. When you know everything, I'll send you on your way. Lin Xian's cold voice rang out. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. Was this kid going to kill him? Lei Qianse was also extremely shocked. But soon, his expression turned cold. So what if he got it? I can capture you and take your soul. I can get it all the same. With a roar, his black hair fluttered. Lightning surrounded his body as he attacked again. This punch swept across the world. It was extremely terrifying. It pressed forward with indomitable will. He was completely enraged. He even used the secret technique of Thunder God City. Lin Xian sneered. He mobilized his power and used the Man-Ruler seal again. He was like a divine king, looking down on the 9 heavens. When his terrifying hand fell, it could overturn the sky. Boom! It was another heaven-shocking strike. The void shattered, and the river of stars reversed. Not a single part of the space here was intact. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the thunder fist was shattered again. Blood rained down from the sky. Lei Qiance's hair was disheveled as he spat out blood and was sent flying. His arm was also deformed. There were cracks all over it. The crowd did not expect that it was the same imprint that had injured Lei Qiance. What kind of power was that? Lin Xian snorted. Lightning appeared under his feet. He was extremely fast and appeared in front of his opponent. It was the man-ruler's seal again. It was like a golden sky that fell down. Boom! This attack directly sent the other party flying. His opponent's body was shattered into pieces. It made everyone's scalp go numb. At this moment, Lei Qiance roared and spat out a thunder drum. The thunder drum shook. Endless lightning exploded and shot into the 9 heavens. In the end, it turned into a god of thunder and charged over. Lin Xian did not care. The man-ruler's seal fell. At the same time, the 10 death sword array flew out. Chapter 4301. Boom! The terrifying man-ruler's seal continued to descend. It was as if it could topple mountains and overturn seas, causing the sky to crumble and the earth to crack. Lei Qiance's attack couldn't be blocked at all unless he took out a true sage ruler weapon. But he didn't have one, so his body was torn apart again. Primordial Grotto, are you still not going to attack? He roared crazily. The people from the Primordial Grotto were also very serious. One of them snorted and attacked. It was the elder from the Primordial Grotto. He immediately attacked with terrifying laws. Like countless lightning bolts, he rushed towards Lin Xian. Each attack could kill a holy venerate. Such an attack was really terrifying. But Lin Xian waved his hands and formed a Taiji diagram. It kept spinning and blocked all the laws. At the same time, the Taiji diagram exploded again. It turned into a terrifying Taiji sword light that kept flashing. He even used the 10 ultimate sword formation, which swept out in all directions. At this time, Lei Qiance found an opportunity. He roared and his broken body recovered. He also attacked. 2 great sage venerables teamed up to fight against Lin Xian. Countless people were shocked. No matter how powerful someone was, they wouldn't be able to block it. Shen Jingqiu and the others' expressions changed. They wanted to rush over, but Lin Xian said to them telepathically, "No, I can handle it." He roared and demonic qi filled the sky. He took out the great destruction and swept it. It turned into a black demonic dragon and flew out. As if it was splitting the sky and earth, a terrifying power blasted forward. The 2 of them were sent flying and vomited blood. Their faces were filled with shock. The surrounding people were also stunned. Lin Xian had sent 2 late-stage holy venerables flying with 1 move. His technique was too heaven-defying. As for the others, their scalps went numb. That aura was a sage ruler weapon. He actually had a sage ruler weapon. That was unbelievable. As expected, the faces of Lei Qiance and the elder from the Primordial Grotto became very ugly. They originally thought that the 2 of them could easily kill their opponent. They didn't expect their opponent to have such a trump card. The 2 of them roared and unleashed their strongest power. If he could kill the other party, not only would he be able to obtain the human ruler's imprint, he would also be able to obtain a saint ruler's weapon. However, not long after, they broke down and quickly fled. The reason for that was because they discovered that they were simply unable to withstand it. The cooperation between the other party and the Saint King's weapon was too strong. Countless cracks appeared on the bodies of the 2 of them. If the 2 of them were not powerful late-stage holy venerables, they would have been killed long ago. But another attack pierced through Lei Qiance's body. His body exploded once again, turning into a bloody mist. Too powerful. The people around were shocked when they heard the cries. Before such power, even a late-stage holy venerate was nothing. Lin Xian had the complete upper hand in a 1-on-2 fight, beating the 2 powerhouses to the point that they kept running away. However, This place was completely sealed by the 10 ultimate sword formation. For a moment, the two of them were unable to escape. The others were shocked. Even the Kunlun pavilion was dumbfounded. At this moment of crisis, two figures appeared outside the Universal Tower. The moment the two of them appeared, they froze the Universal Tower. The next moment, they sped up and instantly entered the Universal Tower. Then, two terrifying powers erupted. Everything was destroyed. Many people were sent flying. Lin Xianxian was also pushed back. The sword aura in front of him continued to shatter. Even the mountain that he had created was also cracked. In the end, he used the Great Destruction Spear to block the terrifying attacks. Then, his face turned completely gloomy. The others also cried out in alarm. A top expert had come. Moreover, he had brought the Saint King's weapon. The next moment, everyone looked up. Two figures appeared in the void in front of him. When the two figures appeared, many people gasped. The elder from the ancient grotto heaved a sigh of relief. He said, "Elder, you came at the right time. Quickly kill that brat. He has a Saint King's banner." The elder who had just arrived had an abnormally terrifying aura. Beside him was a man in purple. After the purple-clothed man stared at Lin Xian, an extremely terrifying killing intent erupted. "Lin Xian, it's actually you. Great, today is the day you die." He shouted coldly, and a yellow springs diagram appeared on his body. It kept bobbing up and down, and a terrifying cold aura circulated. A Saint King's weapon. Everyone was terrified. They didn't expect the other party to bring a Saint King's weapon. "What? Do you think you can contend against me just because you have a Saint King's weapon? How laughable." Lin Xian snorted coldly. He also had the Great Destruction Spear in his hand. "Is that so? Then what about this?" The elder from the ancient grotto took a step forward. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying aura erupted from his body. A small tower appeared in his hand. It was incomparably terrifying, as if it was made of strange stones. It was abnormally terrifying. Stone Tower. It was also a Saint King's weapon. The moment the two great sage human king's weapons appeared, they swept in all directions and suppressed the monstrous demonic aura. At this moment, everyone's expressions changed. They knew that Lin Xian was dead for sure. Under such an attack, the other party definitely wouldn't be able to survive. The expressions of the people from the Kunlun pavilion also changed. Murong Qingqing walked out. In her hand, there was a cyan phantom that kept spinning. It emitted a terrifying aura. "Do you think we don't have any trump cards on our side?" Murong Qingqing shot out the green phantom. It was a huge mountain that floated between heaven and earth, carrying a primordial aura. The surrounding people exclaimed again. Kunlun Mountain. This was also a Saint King's weapon. The four Saint King's weapons collided between heaven and earth. Everyone retreated. At this moment, no one dared to stay here. Only four figures confronted each other. "Senior, go and stop the people from the Kunlun pavilion. I want to kill this kid with my own hands," Ziming said coldly. The old man from the ancient grotto brought the stone tower to fight against the Kunlun mountain. On the other side, Ziming directly charged over. The yellow springs gourd in his hand kept falling. Endless yellow springs water floated up and down. Heaven and earth rumbled. Everyone was shocked. It was too strong. Once a Saint King's weapon was used, even a late-stage Saint Venerable couldn't resist it. Unless they also had a Saint King's weapon in their hands, they could only resist it. Lin Xian also roared and waved the Great Destruction Spear. The battle between the two shook heaven and earth. This was a world-shaking battle. Both sides were evenly matched. No one could do anything to the other. However, at this moment, Lei Qianzi and the old man from the ancient grotto rushed over again. They wanted to sneak attack Lin Xian. They didn't know what was good for them. Lin Xian waved the 10 extinction swords and slashed out, creating a huge crack. It blocked the attacks of the two. At the same time, the Great Destruction Spear shot out a demonic light and instantly sent the two flying. However, in the next moment his pupils shrank. Chapter 4302. This sword strike was extremely terrifying, causing cracks to appear on Lin Xian's body. He retreated, his face pale, and an extremely cold killing intent burst out from his eyes. The surrounding people also exclaimed. Lin Xian was actually injured. Who did it? It was too unbelievable. They all turned their heads to look, but in the next moment, they actually didn't see who it was. Lin Xian frowned. It was a saint slayer, and an extremely powerful one at that. Could it be that the people from the mortal world had come again? A golden light burst out from his eyes, and it rarely appeared in all directions. In the next moment, he felt an extremely terrifying aura surging towards him. In an instant, it appeared behind him again. Get lost. Lin Xian roared angrily. He waved the Great Destruction, shooting out a light of destruction towards the back. However, that person dodged. At the same time, Zi Ming in front of him waved the underworld gourd and charged over. Kid, go to hell. There was a top-notch expert in front of him with a Saint King weapon, and there was a terrifying killer in the dark. It could be said that Lin Xian's situation was extremely dangerous. It seemed that the people from the mortal world had actually come in. It was definitely related to these sacred cities. On the other side, Shen Jingqiu's body changed magically. She wanted to soar into the sky and help. However, the terrifying pressure of a Saint King made it impossible for her to move forward. Qiu, there's no need, Lin Xian said. He was afraid that Shen Jingqiu was in danger. When Murong Qingqing saw this scene, she also wanted to help. At this moment, the old man from the primordial grotto. He sneered. I won't let you do it. The stone pagoda in his hand emitted an extremely terrifying aura, suppressing heaven and earth. Murong Qingqing's face was cold. She could only activate Kunlun Mountain to resist. Kid, I'll see how you die this time. The people from the underworld hall and the primordial grotto sneered. They felt that Lin Xian was dead for sure. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Dead for sure? What a joke. With his strength and trump cards, no matter how strong these people were, they wouldn't be able to hurt him. He was able to survive even under the sage Wang Shouzhong, let alone now. Thinking of this, an extremely sharp light burst out from his eyes. In the next moment, he swung the Great Destruction again and charged over. Boom, boom. There was another shocking collision. Zi Ming's arm was numb from the impact. Although he also had a Saint King's weapon, he discovered that he could not suppress his opponent. The more he stood, the more arrogant he became. Just like the peerless Divine King. At this moment, another terrifying killing intent appeared behind Lin Xian's back. The killing sword appeared once again. Lin Xian sneered. I was waiting for you. An illusion of the great sage pagoda appeared on his body, blocking the sword. At the same time, he executed stellar transposition, and a terrifying sword light slashed out. With a poochie sound, blood flowed down from the void. Someone groaned in the darkness and then quickly fled. You want to leave? Lin Xian snorted coldly and was about to swing the Great Destruction Spear. When the people of the Acheron Hall saw this, they frantically used the Acheron Gourd and the Acheron Dao diagram to suppress the Great Destruction Spear. He wanted to give his opponent a chance to escape. Lin Xian had indeed unleashed a dragon-shaped sword aura, which cleaved everything apart. Boom, boom, boom. The void was torn in half, and a figure fell out. That person was also split in half. His scalp was numb, and he wanted to escape. However, he was instantly surrounded by the 10 ultimate sword formation. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the power of the great dragon sword soul and exploded, destroying his opponent's soul. Damn it. Zi Ming's face was ugly. He did not expect that after he restrained the opponent's Saint King's weapon, his opponent could still kill this Saint Killer. Lin Xian turned his head. Like a golden god of war, he held the Great Destruction Spear in one hand and the 10 ultimate sword in the other. He attacked crazily. Boom, boom. Zi Ming was beaten until he trembled. He kept retreating. His face was full of shock. Without the Saint artifact, he was afraid that he could not block the opponent's attack. But suddenly, Lin Xian used his eye technique and attacked Zi Ming. Zi Ming was stunned. Lin Xian waved the Great Destruction Spear and directly pierced through the expert from Thunder God City. He destroyed his astral soul. In the blink of an eye, Another late-stage Saint Venerable died. Damn it. Ziming roared. His body emitted the power of the law. He held the Acheron gourd with both hands and launched a shocking attack. Acheron gourd destruction. This attack seemed to be able to destroy everything. However, Lin Xian used the Great Destruction Spear to form a black storm to block this attack. At the same time, he waved the Man-Ruler seal and slammed his palm over. With a crack, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Ziming spat out blood and flew backward. His body was directly shattered. The people around felt their scalps go numb. It was too strong. Ziming had a Saint King's weapon, but he still could not block it? Damn it. Ziming retreated frantically. Lin Xian charged forward. At the same time, the elder from the primordial grotto made his move. He waved the stone pagoda and charged over. With one strike, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Lin Xian once again charged over with supreme demonic qi. The two sides exchanged battlefields. This time, Murong Qingqing also took the initiative to attack Ziming. The two battlefields erupted. Everyone left the 5th level, because they did not dare to stay any longer. Purple Ming had been wounded before, and now he was being suppressed by Murong Qingqing. On the other side, the elder from the primordial grotto had an incomparably cold gaze. Kid, I have to say that you have exceeded my expectations. No wonder the Acheron Hall was defeated so miserably. His eyes emitted a cold light. Lin Xian snorted coldly. So what if it was the primordial grotto? Although you have an extraordinary background, can you be stronger than the nest of 10,000 dragons? I'm not even afraid of the nest of 10,000 dragons. Why would I be afraid of you? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with arrogance. The elder from the primordial grotto narrowed his eyes in shock. You even know about the nest of 10,000 dragons. It seems that you are not from the second astral realm. Could it be that you left from this world? Thinking of this, he became incomparably cold. To be honest, he did not know Lin Xian's identity before because he only woke up many years after Lin Xian left the true spirit world. When he woke up, the entire world had changed. Those geniuses from before had already been forgotten by people. Therefore, it was normal that he had not heard of Lin Xian. However, judging from these few words, he knew that Lin Xian should be from this world. It seems that your identity is not ordinary. But so what? If I attack, you have no chance of winning. This elder's eyes were filled with infinite confidence. His strength was even stronger than Ziming's. Therefore, when he used a Saint King weapon, the power would be even more terrifying than before. It would be as easy as flipping his hand for him to kill the other party. But suddenly, a trace of a biting cold light bloomed in the elder's eyes. The void around Lin Xian broke open. For large rock hands grabbed at him. Like the hands of a god, they instantly enveloped Lin Xian. The sudden attack carried an extremely powerful force. Lin Xian seemed to have known it long ago. A golden light flickered in his eyes. Then the sword shadows slashed out in all directions like a divine sword. Chapter 4303. After the attack, a shocking power erupted. Then, Lin Xian's figure disappeared into thin air. When he reappeared, he was behind the old man. The great spear of destruction slashed down like a sharp sword. But the old man's expression changed. He was courting death. He did not expect that his opponent would be able to block his attack so quickly and even counterattack. This caused him to feel furious. He turned around and slapped out. In his palm, the stone pagoda floated up and down. The runes that bloomed were too terrifying. The two saint artifacts clashed, shattering everything. The entire Qinkuan Tower shook violently. The Qinkuan Tower was mysterious. Even in the face of a Saint King's weapon, it was not damaged. He wondered what level it had reached. However, no matter how good the pagoda was, no one could take the Qinkuan Tower. It could only stand between heaven and earth. When the two saint artifacts clashed, the old man also emitted a terrifying aura. He opened his palm and slapped out. Countless Tao runes appeared on his arm. The power of his entire arm increased exponentially. Lin Xian was still fearless. He slapped out the Man-Ruler seal to fight back. When the two collided, Lin Xian was pushed back. The old man sneered. So what if he had a saint artifact? He was still pushed back by him. However, in the next moment, his expression changed. Damn it. His body trembled. A terrifying aura appeared in his eyes to suppress the death energy in his body. At the moment of the collision, a wave of death energy poured into his body. He floated the stone pagoda above his head. Thousands of laws poured into his body to suppress it. On the other side, Lin Xian walked out of the shattered void. He spat out a mouthful of blood, but he sneered. If you want to hurt me, you have to pay the price. In the previous exchange, it seemed that he was injured and spat out blood. However, he knew that his opponent was more seriously injured than him. Because his opponent had hidden injuries. If he didn't control it well, it would immediately explode. While his opponent was suppressing the death energy, Lin Xian attacked again. He held the Great Destruction Spear with both hands and swept it in all directions. Boom! Boom! The battle between the two was even more terrifying than before. From time to time, Lin Xian would release the Law of Death, or he would release a dragon-shaped sword qi that would fly into his opponent's body to destroy it. The other party could still suppress the Law of Death, but this inextinguishable sword will was simply too horrifying. It was impossible for him to destroy it in a short period of time. After a few times, the old man suffered internal injuries. His face turned ice cold. Damn kid, just you wait. He did not attack again. Instead, he quickly retreated. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? Was the battle over? The archaic grotto's people actually retreated. It was too unbelievable. This meant that the people from Archean Grotto were at a disadvantage in this battle. Abominable. Zi Ming from the Yellow Spring Hall also retreated, his expression ugly. He hadn't expected that even with two Saint King weapons, they still wouldn't be able to do anything to their opponent. Let's go and search for the Saint's wills elsewhere. These people gritted their teeth and prepared to leave. But at this moment, Lin Xian suddenly made his move. The Great Destruction Spear pierced through everything and attacked his opponent. He was not attacking Elder Yuan, but another old man. The old man's forehead was pierced, and his soul was destroyed. Even in death, he did not believe that Lin Xian would not let him go. That person was the one who had attacked him together with Lei Qianzi earlier. He would not let that person leave. Abominable. Just you wait. The people from Archean Grotto were so angry that they were about to cry. However, they did not attack again. Instead, they quickly left. Are you all right? The people from the Kunlun Pavilion rushed over, their faces full of concern. Murong Qingqing shook her head. On the other side, Xin Jingqiu came to Lin Xian's side and asked with concern. Lin Xian was fine. He was a little injured, but it was not a big deal. Thus, he immediately sat down cross-legged and began to recover. Murong Qingqing also recovered. The Kunlun Pavilion's protectors did not dare to approach. Before long, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He said, I want to meditate for a while. Thus, I cannot leave for now. Qingqing, take Qiu. The two of you can go and search for the Saint King's wills. Then Brother Xian, let some people protect you. Murong Qingqing said. Lin Xian shook his head. Don't worry, I have ways to protect myself. However, take care of Qiu. Shen Jingqiu left with Murong Qingqing and the people from the Kunlun Pavilion. Lin Xian stayed behind. Yu Shijie also did not leave. She stayed by Lin Xian's side. She asked, Do you want to cultivate the Saint King's wills? Lin Xian said, That's right. This is very important to me, so I plan to refine it. Yu Shijie also hesitated. He also had a Saint King's wills. Moreover, it was a water-type Saint King's wills. It was very suitable for him. However, if he cultivated the Saint King's wills, it would disappear. At that time, if he could not find anything else, he would not be able to go to the buried Emperor Star. If he kept it, he would not be able to increase his strength in a short period of time. Thinking about it, Yu Shijie gritted her teeth and decided to refine it. He would first absorb the energy and think about the future. Thus, he also prepared to refine the Saint King's wills. Lin Xian brought him to the Great Sage Pagoda. The two of them started to cultivate. There was no need to worry about any sneak attacks here. On the other side, The others also left the universal pagoda because they would discover that there was nothing here. Murong Qingqing and the others also left. However, Shen Jingqiu said, "Sister Qingqing, I plan to go look for it alone." "No, that's too dangerous." Murong Qingqing shook her head. "I promised Brother Xian that I would take care of you." "Don't worry, I have ways to protect myself." Shen Jingqiu smiled. She then waved her hand and left. Murong Qingqing still wanted to say something, but he sighed and did not stop her. An elder beside him asked, "Let him leave alone? How about we send a few experts to protect her in secret?" Murong Qingqing shook her head. He said, "Forget it. Xiao definitely has a trump card. I believe in her. Let's look for the Saint King's wills first." The people from the Kunlun Pavilion also left. On the other side, Shen Jingqiu went alone. Then, a mysterious rune flickered in his eyes. In the next moment, he said in a low voice, "Is there really a Saint King's wills in that place?" At this moment, a woman's voice sounded in his mind. "Of course there is, and there is more than one. I hope you are not lying to me." Shen Jingqiu increased his speed and disappeared. Battles constantly occurred in the ancient battlefield. There was even a heaven and earth phenomenon. Clearly, the people who came and discovered the Saint King's wills. Fu Hongye obtained a Saint King's wills and many people chased after him. In the end, he merged with the Saint King's wills and his strength increased greatly. The same thing happened in other places as well. Everyone discovered that not only could the Saint King's wills be used to exchange for the qualifications to enter the buried Emperor Star, but it could also be absorbed to increase one's strength. This way, the situation changed. Previously, everyone wanted to obtain a Saint King's wills. But now, one was probably not enough. They wanted to obtain as much as possible to strengthen themselves. Chapter 4304. Inside the Great Sage Pagoda. Lin Xian opened his eyes. A supreme great Tao appeared in his eyes. It quickly disappeared. At this moment, the aura on his body became even more terrifying. Although his cultivation did not increase, after cultivating the human ruler seal, there was a domineering aura that looked down on the world. It was too powerful. Was this the will of a sage king? Lin Xian was shocked. He turned to look at Yu Shijie in the distance. Yu Shijie was also shocked by Lin Xian's aura, so she also opened her eyes. There was also a deep power emerging from her body. Lin Xian knew that this was the power of water. How did it feel? Did you get any ultimate techniques? Yu Shijie nodded and stood up. She walked over. She said that she had obtained a divine power called the Aquarius Purifying Bottle. Obviously, she had also gained a lot. It seemed that the Sage Kings will not only contain the great Tao of heaven and earth, but also the ultimate techniques of the Sage King when he was alive. He wondered who the human ruler was. Just as he was thinking, an earth-shattering vibration suddenly came from outside. Then, a terrifying aura spread out. Even Lin Xian felt it in the Great Sage Pagoda. It was so scary. What was it? Beside him, Yu Shijie was also shocked. She also frowned. Lin Xian put away the Great Sage Pagoda. The two appeared on the 5th level. Then they left the Chengkuan Pagoda. They looked into the distance. Countless large cracks appeared in the sky of the primordial battlefield, and an extremely terrifying force spread throughout the area. Everyone discovered that some illusions had appeared in the sky. There were terrifying stone tablets and mysterious palaces that formed one. What was this? Lin Xian's eyes flashed. He said that as the ancient battlefield, there must have been something incredible before. It seemed that this had appeared in the core of the ancient battlefield. Did someone activate some array mechanism? Or was the ancient battlefield about to completely open? He had some guesses in his heart, but he could not be sure. There was no need to think so much. Let's go and take a look. Lin Xian knew that although that place was dangerous, there might be more Sage King's will. But the two turned into streams of light and flew into the distance. Meanwhile, the people around the primordial battlefield also looked up with shock in their eyes. Chao Tianxing held a saint's will in his hand. His eyes swept across the void and looked into the distance. Is it open? Let's go. With a wave of his hand, he led the people of the Limitless sect and quickly set off. On the other side, Murong Qingqing obtained the second Sage King's will, and a hint of joy appeared in her beautiful eyes. At this time, she also looked up and saw the scene in the distance. Then, she also led the people from the Kunlun Pavilion over. There was a canyon in the primordial battlefield. It was said that countless experts had died there. It was a terrifying place. The primordial battlefield was an extremely dangerous place. However, within this gorge, a bright light shone out as a heaven and earth dharma form tore everything apart. Shin Jingqiu walked out with a pale face. However, she smiled. This time, although it was dangerous and she had been injured, she had obtained 3 Sage King wills. Then she looked up into the distance. At this time, the mysterious woman's voice sounded again. Unexpectedly, that place had also opened. Let's go and take a look. There are incredible opportunities there too. Shin Jingqiu nodded. Then her figure flashed and she flew into the distance. At the same time, Linghu Chuexue, Gu Feng, and the other experts from the holy cities all gathered ahead. In the void, 10,000 rays of starlight fell. This was an expert from the 7-star tower who had reached the late stage of the holy exalted stage. His strength was also very terrifying. At this moment, his face was filled with excitement. He had also obtained a Sage King's will. On his way back, the void suddenly split open. A white bone hand instantly enveloped him. Damn it! The old man from the 7-star tower was also an expert. With a roar, he counterattacked. However, at this moment, a broken sword pierced through his body from the ground. That old man felt his vitality slipping away. In the next moment, he was completely enveloped by the white bone hand. A skeleton walked out from the ground. It was the same in the sky. It was a broken human figure. There was no vitality in their bodies. There were runes flickering on their bodies. Clearly, they were being controlled by some mysterious power. There was more than one situation like this. There were a total of 3. 3 powerful late-stage holy exalted stage experts were killed. The wills of the holy nets in their hands were also snatched away. In a remote area of the ancient battlefield, the earth split open. Several Sage Kings' wills floated in the void. The old man's lips curled up into a cold smile. Very good. Suddenly, heaven and earth shook. A desolate aura appeared in the distance, causing the tombs of the experts in the surroundings to tremble non-stop. Those skeletons were filled with fear. They no longer paid attention to the old man's control and directly drilled into the tombs. The old man guarding the tomb waved his hand and collected all the Sage King's wills. Then, his face became somewhat gloomy. Had that place opened? He had not expected that the people who had entered this time would be so extraordinary. Then, he glanced at the small mound to the side and frowned slightly. He did not know if that fellow had gone there. If that fellow had gone, it would truly be troublesome. It seemed that he would have to make a trip there. A mysterious light appeared in the eyes of the old man guarding the tomb. Lin Xian and Yu Shijie were flying rapidly in the air. Suddenly he frowned. Who was it? As soon as he finished speaking, he directly slapped out with his palm, shattering the void. The white bone long blade descended from the sky, and the Renwang seal collided with each other. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Yu Shijie also frowned. Was someone attacking them? Was it a top assassin? Lin Xian's face was also cold. However, when he saw the crack, he was stunned. It seemed that it was not a person of the human world, but some white bone creatures. Lin Xian directly took out the spear of great destruction and fought with it. That white bone creature was very powerful. However, under the great destruction, it could not resist at all and was directly shattered. It still wanted to escape, but in the end, it was directly suppressed by Lin Xian using the Taiji diagram. Lin Xian used his heavenly secret superpower to search and obtain some vague information. This person was here to snatch the Sage King's wills. This fellow was extremely powerful when he was alive. Now, it was not possible to completely kill him. Lin Xian directly cast a seal and completely sealed this fellow in the ground. Then he frowned slightly. The following scene would probably be even more complicated. Anyone could attack him, and the difficulty of obtaining more Sage King's wills would increase exponentially. He had to think of a way. Suddenly, he was stunned and thought of a person. Come out. A figure was directly pulled out by him. Chapter 4305. When she saw this figure, Yushurtia was also stunned because she realized that it was 9 Qilins. 9 Qilins from before had their lives cut off by Lin Xian, but they hadn't died completely. Instead, they had been suppressed by Lin Xian. At this moment, he released 9 Qilins. After 9 Qilins came out, he gritted his teeth and said, "Damn brat, let me go. The demon city won't let you go." Lin Xian said coldly, "Is that so? I'll give you 2 chances now. Submit to me and let me plant a restriction in your soul. That way you can live. Second, you can resist, but I'll destroy your soul." Beside him, Yushurtia gasped. She knew that Lin Xian wanted to subdue 9 Qilins. However, 9 Qilins were different from her. If it were anyone else, Lin Xian would forcefully control their soul. But 9 Qilins was different. His bloodline was too strong. He must have some life-saving means left behind by an expert. If Lin Xian forcefully controlled 9 Qilins, he might activate these trump cards. Therefore, he had to make 9 Qilins willing. 9 Qilins gritted his teeth, unwilling to give up. However, when he thought of Lin Xian's methods, he knew that if he resisted, his soul would be destroyed. He could only say, "I can submit to you, but only for 100 years. After 100 years, I want you to let me go." "Okay." Lin Xian nodded. 9 Qilins gritted his teeth and said, "Swear on your future martial path." It seemed that he was still worried. Lin Xian sneered, "You want to negotiate with me? Do you think you're qualified? If you're not willing, I'll do it." He took out the Great Destruction Spear, and demonic chi exploded from his body. 9 Qilins' expression became even uglier. This was the aura of a Saint King's weapon. It seemed that the other party was much stronger than before. He didn't dare to resist anymore. He could only release his soul and let Lin Xian use his trump card. Lin Xian's spirit entered the other party's mind and heaved a sigh of relief. As expected, the other party had a life-saving method in his mind. He didn't move. Instead, he set up a soul imprint in another place. With the power of the heavenly secret god eyes, even a Saint King would not be able to detect it. "All right," Lin Xian said, "follow me first. I'll let you out when I see the people from the demon city." If he were to let the other party leave now, the 9 Qilins would not be able to survive in such a dangerous situation. Once again, the group of people set off. In the sky, figures appeared one after another. They stood there and looked at the scene in front of them with sparkling eyes. This was the core of the primordial battlefield. The aura emanating from this place was even more terrifying. A huge city appeared there. There were all kinds of pavilions in the city, and they were full of traces of time. Lin Xian and Yushurtia were there as well. They looked ahead, their eyes flashing. "Let's go." Lin Xian waved his hand and the 2 of them turned into streaks of light as they headed towards the huge city. At the same time, people turned into streaks of light in all directions. This city was very big, so it was impossible to investigate it completely in a short period of time. It was even possible that they might encounter each other. As these people entered, the huge city that had been asleep for countless years became lively again. However, not long after, a low sound came from inside. It sounded like a roar. Countless people were shocked. Could it be that there were still living creatures in this city? If that was the case, how terrifying would it be? Boom! The ground cracked open, and black figures appeared one after another. These were all demonic beasts, and they were abnormally ferocious. However, no one knew what these things were. Lin Xian also frowned. It seemed that they could not search aimlessly. They had to quickly find the aura of the Saint King's will. Thinking of this, he opened his heavenly secret god eyes. Then he sensed a mysterious aura in the distance. He prepared to go over and take a look. The 2 of them turned into streaks of light and shuttled through the city. Although it was called a huge city, it was really too vast. There were even mountains, trees, and canyons. Lin Xian and the others flew all the way. During this time, they even encountered some attacks. It seemed that there was more than one demonic beast inside. This huge city should have a special power that could allow demonic beasts to cultivate smoothly. Yushirtia shot out 2 laws and sent 2 demonic beasts flying. She frowned slightly. If this continued, their speed would be very slow. Lin Xian also frowned. In the next moment, he directly used the tiger demon fist, and a tiger's roar sounded. A terrifying aura erupted. This was the sound of the king of beasts. It directly shook the world, and some of the surrounding demonic beasts quickly retreated. Next, their speed was much faster. After flying for half a day, they found a terrifying scene in front of them. The trees and mountains in front of them suddenly became tall. Lin Xian even found that there were many ancient trees around them that reached the sky. It was as if there were many giant dragons that kept circling. It was terrifying. There should be a powerful life force in front of them. They passed through countless divine trees and vines. After flying quickly, they finally arrived in front of them. When the 2 of them landed on the ground, the quiet void became lively again. This is? Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Beside him, Yushirtia was completely stunned. Heavens! There were many spirit fruits around them. They were like stars, swaying there. The number of them was shocking. Lin Xian was also surprised. In the next moment, a look of joy appeared on his face. With a wave of his hand, countless laws were sent out, enveloping this part of the world. Then he put away all of the spirit fruits. If the dark red divine dragon and Whitey were here, they would definitely go crazy when they saw this scene. Yushirtia also quickly made a move. She formed a seal with her palms. In her hand, the law of water formed a treasure that quickly collected the surrounding spirit fruits. After a while, someone nearby cried out in surprise. Heavens, what is this? Look, there are so many spirit fruits here. They are all natural treasures. Hurry up and do it. Follow me. As soon as this voice sounded, it attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Countless powerful auras quickly gathered in this direction. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he also said, "Let's go." The 2 of them had already collected enough and did not want to be discovered. Moreover, Lin Xian felt that this place should not be just these spirit fruits. There should be other treasures, so the 2 of them quickly disappeared into the void. Not long after they left, dozens of figures appeared in the sky. They looked at the surrounding spirit fruits with red eyes. There were too many of them. If they could take all of them, it would be equivalent to many years of bitter cultivation. Thinking of this, these people began to attack. In an instant, all kinds of laws erupted between heaven and earth. Soon a great battle broke out. It was very terrifying. After all, in front of such natural treasures, these people would not hold back. Chapter 4306. The battle in the surroundings was very terrifying. All kinds of laws filled the air, but Lin Xian had already left. He continued to walk forward. Soon he stopped again. He found that there was a towering tree in front of him. It was very huge. The aura emitted from it was very rich. Clearly, it contained supreme vitality. There were also some fruits on it. After Lin Xian saw it, his eyes lit up. He turned into a stream of light and instantly rushed over. During this process, the surrounding vines and tree trunks quickly flew over, forming layers of defenses to block him. Lin Xian's man-ruler's seal slammed over. The man-ruler's seal covered the sky and earth and could destroy everything. However, at this moment, it was blocked here. It was really strange. He stopped with a look of surprise on his face. It seemed that this thing was indeed not simple. Lin Xian took a deep breath and directly used the great dragon sword soul. The indestructible sword slashed out. Only then did it split open the void bit by bit and cut apart those vines. That's great. Seeing this scene, his face was filled with joy. Finally, he arrived in front of the towering tree like a hot knife through butter. Then, he struck out a large golden hand and grabbed at the fruit in front of him. However, the fruit suddenly swayed and bloomed with incomparable light. A terrifying power spread out in all directions like a wave. At this moment, it caused a phenomenon of heaven and earth. Lin Xian was stunned. It was too late for him to stop it. This phenomenon would definitely be seen by the people fighting in the distance. At that time, there would be even more terrifying people flying over. Thinking of this, his face turned cold and he directly attacked. He grabbed at a fruit. The multicolored light on this fruit actually turned into a great Dao to block it. Lin Xian was greatly surprised. It seemed that these spirit fruits were indeed extraordinary. With a cold snort, he waved his hand. The large golden hand exerted force again, shattering those laws and then grabbing them in his hand. These spirit fruits were already tens of thousands of years old. If consumed, the effect would be very good. Therefore, Lin Xian did not stop. At the same time, he said to Yu Shirqie beside him, "You should also make a move. How much you can take depends on your ability." Yu Shirqie took a deep breath, and a light appeared in her eyes. She would not be polite. The two of them quickly made their moves. The energy fluctuation from before was also spreading rapidly in all directions. Those who were fighting in the distance all raised their heads and looked into the distance when they sensed the energy fluctuation. What a terrifying aura! There seemed to be even more terrifying treasures of heaven and earth there. Go quickly. These people were no longer fighting. Instead, they were all flying into the distance. When they arrived nearby and saw the towering tree, they were all stunned. They were especially shocked when they saw the gigantic hand wrapped around some spirit fruits. These people's eyes instantly turned red. The power in his body continued to erupt. Lin Xian frowned. He didn't expect these people to arrive so quickly. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, but he didn't turn around. Instead, he stared ahead. At the top of the heavenly tree, there was a fruit. That fruit was enveloped by countless multicolored great Dao lights. Half of it was black and the other half was white. It was extremely mysterious. Moreover, there was a terrifying black and white aura surrounding it, forming mysterious runes. Could this be formed by the power of yin and yang? Lin Xian was too shocked. This heavenly tree had a powerful vitality. However, it grew in the primordial battlefield, a place filled with the aura of death. That was why this yin-yang fruit was formed. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a piercing cold light. If he could obtain the nomological laws contained in this thing, then he could increase the power of the Taiji diagram. Lin Xian wasn't the only one who saw it. The few people who came saw it too. They looked at the black and white fruit above them with a piercing cold light in their eyes. It contains the yin and yang nomological laws. If we take it and consume it, we might be able to comprehend the laws. These people were really too surprised. The yin and yang nomological laws were extremely powerful origin source laws. Very few people could comprehend them. Once they succeeded, their strength would increase by leaps and bounds. Therefore, the aura on these people's bodies was abnormally cold. However, in the next moment, their pupils constricted. "Damn brat, how dare you!" They saw that the silhouette before them had extended an enormous golden hand and grabbed toward them. The few of them roared angrily and struck out terrifying heaven and earth nomological laws directly towards the huge golden hand. They suppressed the huge golden hand. Lin Xian's face darkened. He felt the power coming from his palm. He withdrew his palm, and his expression became incomparably cold. In the next moment, he turned his head and asked coldly, "You dare to attack me? So it's you, brat." Behind him, the expression of a powerhouse from the demon city instantly darkened. He didn't expect Lin Xian to actually come here. Moreover, it seemed that he had come earlier than them. Then, how many of the surrounding spirit fruits had the other party collected? At this moment, a powerhouse from the Limitless sect also said coldly, "I won't make things difficult for you. Since you came so early, you must have already obtained enough spirit fruits. Now, I'll give you a chance to leave. As for this yin-yang fruit, don't think about it anymore." The one who spoke was also an old man. His strength had reached the late-stage holy venerable realm, and the aura on his body was very terrifying. Although Lin Xian was a top prodigy, so what? Firstly, he was a late-stage powerhouse himself. Here, There were many experts by his side this time. If they attacked together, the other party would definitely not be able to withstand it. Yu Shirqia was also extremely nervous. She came to Lin Xian's side and said in a low voice, "Young master, what should we do?" She saw that besides the people from the Demon City and the Limitless sect, there were also people from the Thunder sect. Moreover, those from the Great Desolate Mansion, the 10,000 Swords Pavilion, and the Deep Sea Palace seemed to be rushing over. It wouldn't be long before this place was surrounded. Lin Xian looked at the sages and then looked at the yin-yang fruit. A golden light appeared in his eyes. In the next moment he said, "All right, we'll do as you say. I'll leave, and you won't attack me." "That's right." The old man from the Limitless sect smiled and said, "I can still guarantee this." To be honest, a trace of disdain appeared in his heart. This Lin Wudi wasn't as arrogant as he had imagined. He knew when to advance and retreat. The people from the Thunder God City and the Demon City also sneered. To be honest, they didn't want to let that brat go. However, they also knew that it wouldn't be easy to kill him. Moreover, people from the other holy cities would arrive at any time. If more people came, it would be difficult for them to obtain the yin-yang fruit. Therefore, they decided to snatch the treasure first and then deal with this brat. Very good. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile. Then, he quickly retreated to the side. Yu Shirqia followed suit. However, she had a puzzled expression. It shouldn't be. Based on her understanding of Lin Xian, this guy wouldn't give up the treasure so easily. Chapter 4307. Lin Xian glanced at Yu Shirqia. He knew that she was confused, so he sent her a voice transmission. "Don't worry. That thing isn't so easy to obtain. Let's test its power first." Yu Shirqia was stunned. She looked at the yin-yang fruit in the distance. Was that thing still dangerous? She really couldn't tell. The other late-stage holy venerates also smiled when they saw Lin Xian leave. Among them, the Thunder God City person turned into a bolt of lightning and flew over. "Damn it! How dare you!" The Limitless sect's elder roared, wanting to stop him. However, Thunder God was too fast. He was still a step too late. The Thunder God City middle-aged man arrived at the front. He looked at the yin-yang fruit and smiled. "Everyone, I won't be polite then." After saying that, he charged at the yin-yang fruit. Behind him, the late-stage holy venerates roared. They unleashed terrifying divine abilities to stop him, but it was already too late. That was because Thunder God's palm had already enveloped the yin-yang fruit. "Great, it's mine." The Thunder God expert's lips curled into a smile. However, in the next moment, his expression became incomparably ugly. He discovered that a black law had entered his body and instantly taken away his life force. As for his arm, it rapidly shriveled up. He frantically retreated. However, in an instant, he turned into white bones and no longer existed. The people behind him who were still roaring furiously were all stunned. Their faces were filled with horror. What was going on? A late-stage holy venerate had been killed just like that? They felt a wave of terror. Yu Shirqia's pupils shrank. How could this be? Only Lin Xian's eyes flashed. It seemed that it was true. The yin-yang law was extremely terrifying. It wasn't something that just anyone could contend against. Seeing Lin Xian's calm expression, Yu Shirqia sucked in a cold breath. It seemed that Lin Xian had already known. Furthermore, the experiment he had mentioned should be this matter, right? At this moment, the experts behind him also looked at Lin Xian. "Brat, you dare to set us up?" The Thousand Fiend City expert clenched his teeth and roared. The Limitless sect's elder had an icy expression. Lin Xian said, "Why would he say that? It was you who wanted to drive me away and take the yin-yang fruit. From the beginning to the end, I didn't say anything. Now you're saying that I'm framing you. Don't you think it's a little ridiculous?" "Damn it." The expert from the Demon City let out a furious roar as his body suddenly enlarged, as if he had transformed into a peerless beast. It seemed like he wanted to make a move. However, at this moment, an even more terrifying aura spread out from the surroundings. From the looks of it, the people in the distance had also rushed over. When they arrived, they also exclaimed in surprise. Was that the law of yin and yang? It seemed that this was a great opportunity. One of them was clad in green battle robes. He stood there like an ancient divine mountain, striking fear into the hearts of those who saw him. Shi Qingyu. Many people exclaimed as they looked at him. Clearly, this was an extremely terrifying figure. Lin Xian looked at the other party and frowned as well. His eyes flashed with a cold light. This person gave him a dangerous feeling. After Shi Qingyu arrived, he looked as if he was looking down on the world. His gaze swept across the surrounding people without stopping. When he saw Lin Xian, his gaze paused slightly. However, it only lingered for a moment before he stopped paying attention. It was obvious that the other party had recognized Lin Xian, but he didn't seem to pay too much attention to him. More and more people rushed over. They looked at the yin-yang fruit in front of them in shock. Discussions broke out one after another. At the same time, they also realized that there were many experts around. In particular, when they saw Shi Qingyu, they all looked nervous. He was an extremely terrifying expert from the primordial grotto. At this moment, Shi Qingyu said indifferently, "I want the yin-yang spirit fruit in front of me. Do you have any objections?" Although his tone was asking, there was a domineering aura in his words. The surrounding people's pupils constricted when they heard this. Was this guy going to snatch it directly? However, they realized that no one dared to object directly, which was extremely shocking. At this moment, the sacred venerate from the Thousand Demon City smiled and said, "Of course we don't have any objections." However, the first person to arrive here was Lin Xian. It seemed like he was determined to obtain the yin-yang fruit. Many people's eyelids twitched when they heard this. This person was obviously looking for someone from the primordial grotto to deal with Lin Xian. Sure enough, when Shi Qingyu heard this, he turned his head and looked at Lin Xian. Then he said, "You must be Lin Xian, right? Would you dare take it if I gave it to you?" Lin Xian also smiled. Why wouldn't he dare? He had originally cultivated the Taiji art and had grasped two powerful nomological laws. This spiritual fruit would be of great help to his Taiji art. How could he give it up? When they heard this, the surrounding people were stunned. Heavens, this was indeed the case. They knew that Lin Xian wouldn't give up so easily. It seemed like this was indeed the case. Even though he was facing the extremely powerful Shi Qingyu, he was still calm and composed. He really didn't know what was good for him. The demon saint from the Thousand Face City sneered. He had already achieved his goal. Next, Shi Qingyu would definitely not let him off. Sure enough, Shi Qingyu's face also darkened when he heard this. No one had ever dared to be so arrogant in front of him, let alone a young man. Sure enough, he was even more arrogant than the rumors said. However, treasures were only suitable for powerhouses. Did Lin Xian have the right? Did he have the right? You'll know when you try. Lin Xian's eyes also burst with a piercing cold light. At the same time, an extremely terrifying power surged out of his body. On the other side, Shi Qingyu's power also burst out, and the surrounding void kept shattering. The people around him quickly retreated, their faces full of shock. They knew that the two of them were about to fight. Do you think this kid can block it? What a joke. How could he compete with Shi Qingyu? That's right. I don't think he can even take one move. Many people around them sneered. The people from the immemorial grotto had special bloodlines. Their physiques were abnormally strong, and their power was even more shocking. Sure enough, Shi Qingyu raised his hand and slowly clenched it into a fist. Mysterious runes appeared on the fist, and a terrifying power emanated from it. Boom! Then he threw a punch forward. The surrounding void kept shattering. It seemed like a casual punch. However, even a late-stage holy venerate would not be able to block it. What a strong power! The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. The way they saw it, Lin Xian was definitely going to die this time around. Lin Xian also took a deep breath, and a piercing cold light burst out of his eyes. He was indeed very strong. No wonder his opponent had the right to be arrogant. However, so what? Lin Xian also extended his hand and continued to form seals. The man-ruler seal was displayed by him. Like a supreme deity, it slammed forward fiercely. Chapter 4308. Boom. The two attacks collided in the sky. It was as if hundreds of thousands of claps of thunder rang out in the sky. The entire world shook violently. Countless large cracks appeared in the sky. Violent winds and torrential rain swept across the land. The two black figures also retreated quickly. How was it? Everyone looked forward. They wanted to know if Lin Xian had blocked the attack. They guessed that he should have been beaten into a bloody mist. However, when they saw that Lin Xian had only retracted his palm and was still standing there, many people's eyes almost fell out of their sockets. God, he really blocked it. Between the heavens and the earth, terrifying energy constantly surged, and the surrounding people were all stunned. Their minds were a little blank. That was because they could not believe what they had just seen. They knew how powerful Shi Qingyu was. Although the attack just now was just a casual attack, the power it contained was not weak at all. Instead, it was extremely powerful. However, Lin Xian was able to block such a terrifying attack with ease. It seemed that he was not injured at all. That was really surprising. Just how strong had this brat become? The faces of the Demon City's experts also darkened. Damn it, this kid was really too terrifying. They felt that he was not weaker than them. Lin Xian looked in front of him. Shi Qingyu's face was a little pale. Then he smiled and said, "Your strength is only SOS. You were so arrogant before. I thought that a sage king had come. Now that I've seen it, it's really disappointing. With just this little bit of power, you want to suppress all the heroes. I'm afraid you won't be able to do so." The surrounding people were stunned. Was this guy challenging Shi Qingyu? Sure enough, Shi Qingyu's eyes also burst with a cold, murderous intent. Was he looking down on him? The aura on his body kept exploding. However, Lin Xian retracted his gaze. He did not care at all. Instead, he looked at the yin-yang fruit in the distance. It seemed that it was about time for him to make his move. Others were afraid of the power of yin-yang, but he was not. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palm and threw out a taiji diagram. It flew towards the yin-yang fruit. This guy actually made his move? Countless exclamations sounded. Their eyes were red. Shi Qingyu roared, "How dare you!" The other party was too reckless. Did they really think that his strength was only that much? You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Today, I will let you know my true strength. As soon as he finished speaking, an extremely terrifying power erupted, causing the ground to shatter. Countless canyons appeared. Shi Qingyu stretched out a huge hand that covered the sky and charged towards the taiji diagram in front of him, wanting to grab it. However, at this moment, a sword chi slashed down from the sky like thunder and blocked the huge hand. It was Lin Xian. Lin Xian had only used the taiji diagram to collect the yin and yang fruits, but he had blocked it. This was the green jade. What? Are you not convinced? Let's make it one stop then. Lin Xian's aura continued to erupt. He wasn't worried about the people around him at all, because the eruption of the laws of yin and yang in the distance was extremely terrifying. Even a late-stage holy venerate would not dare to get close. Once they did, their life force would be instantly snatched away. In such a situation, using the taiji diagram was the most suitable. No one can take away the treasures I want. You want to take the treasures from me? How laughable. At this moment, Shi Qingyu's expression became extremely cold. He was like an angry war god, his power and killing intent sweeping in all directions. Then he punched out again. This time, he must kill the other party. Do you really think that only your strength and physique are strong? Lin Xian also snorted coldly, and the nine-yang divine body continued to erupt. Then, a golden palm of light slapped out. It was like a golden mountain, causing the entire world to dim. Even Shi Qingyu's pupils shrank. In the next moment, the two attacks collided again, and violent vibrations swept in all directions. Shi Qingyu felt a huge force coming from his arm, wanting to tear his body apart. This physique shocked him too much. He was from the immemorial grotto and had a strong bloodline. The immemorial grotto cultivated the Holy Spirit's blood, which was incomparable. However, he did not expect the other party's physique to be so strong as well. How could he have known that Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body was also one of the strongest physiques in the starry heavens? Furthermore, not long ago, Xiao Chen's 9-yang divine body had been tempered by the terrifying lightning sea and merged with the protective light. Now, it was even more horrifying. Hence, even when facing Shi Qingyu's physique, Xiao Chen was not at a disadvantage. No wonder you dare to be arrogant before me. It looks like you also have a powerful body tempering technique. However, how can you compare to my Holy Spirit body? Today, I'll let you know what the gap is. After saying that, an extremely terrifying aura surged out of Shi Qingyu's body again. Then he formed hand seals. Together, they formed an extremely mysterious illusory figure that charged straight for Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not dodge. He executed the man-ruler seal with his right hand and attacked continuously, like a heavenly king sweeping through the 9 heavens. As for his left hand, it turned into a golden sun that swept out in all directions. At this moment, the might of his divine body was completely unleashed. This attack was like 2 war gods clashing. The terrifying aura caused the scalps of the surrounding people to go numb. This was especially so for the late-stage holy venerates. They were all stunned. This Lin Xian's physique was actually not weaker than theirs. This brat was too strong. His strength was already equivalent to a late-stage holy venerate. If they did not have powerful means, it would be very difficult to suppress him. The surrounding experts of the holy cities found this inconceivable. This was especially so for the people of the Thunder God City, Myriad Fiend City, and Myriad Sword Pavilion. This was because in the second stage, Xiao Chen was only a peak small saint. However, in the third stage, his strength soared, becoming a middle stage holy venerate. One had to know that this was a realm that might not be reached even after several thousand years. Xiao Chen managed to accomplish this in such a short period of time. This was simply heaven-defying. There were also some people with cold expressions. They shifted their gazes away from the battle and looked at the light in the distance. They wanted to snatch the yin-yang spirit fruit. After all, this was the best opportunity. Indeed, a holy venerate from the great desolate mansion instantly charged out. He created a desolate valley, wanting to envelop the yin-yang spirit fruit. The yin-yang spirit fruit shot out a terrifying yin-yang spirit fruit. The laws of yin-yang were rarely seen in the 9 heavens. One of that person's arms instantly withered. Then he immediately fled. He felt that 1/3 of the vitality in his body had disappeared. This was too terrifying. This yin-yang spirit fruit was really too strong. Perhaps only a true holy king weapon could subdue it. The others were also shocked. However, they could not do anything about it. Chapter 4309. They were extremely unwilling to give up. The Tai Chi diagram's aura was very similar to the yin-yang fruit, so it was not affected much. At this moment, it was clashing with the laws of yin and yang. It seemed that it would not be long before it completely enveloped them. When that time came, they would have no hope at all. Therefore, their eyes turned red. They looked into the distance, hoping that Shi Qingyu could defeat Lin Xian. In this way, the Tai Chi diagram would not attack anymore. Shi Qingyu's face became extremely ugly. To be honest, he thought that he could kill Lin Xian with one move. He did not expect Lin Xian to block it. Now that he had used all his strength, he thought that he could destroy Lin Xian's soul within 10 moves. However, after hundreds of moves, he still could not suppress Lin Xian, let alone kill him. Thinking of this, he roared, "Die!" With a roar, a terrifying murderous aura erupted. Sacred heavenly divine palm. With a roar, a palm slapped out, carrying tens of thousands of laws as if it was going to break the sky. This terrifying power directly attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt the power of this palm and was shocked. He knew that this was a peerless divine skill because his divine body was shaking violently. It was as if it was going to shatter his body. But Lin Xian roared, and the dragon in his body roared. Then he formed the man-ruler seal with both hands and attacked together. It was as if the world was splitting apart. This power had actually become even stronger. Boom, boom, boom. The man-ruler seal had the aura of the dragon. and it fell directly on the sacred heavenly divine palm. The two collided, and cracks appeared on the sacred heavenly divine palm as if it was about to shatter. Shi Qingyu was even more shocked. His face was full of shock and disbelief. How could Lin Xian's strength surpass his? How could it be? He was one level higher than Lin Xian, and he had already used his ultimate skill. The surrounding people were stunned as well. Lin Xian's strength was truly shocking. His opponent's attack power was actually able to increase. At the same time, the Tai Chi diagram in the distance slowly descended, and it was very close to the yin-yang fruit. It would probably take less than half an hour to completely take away the yin-yang fruit. Naturally, Shi Qingyu also saw this scene, and his face was extremely cold. With a roar, he charged over again. Another world-shaking battle ensued. However, it didn't take long for Shi Qingyu to be sent flying backward. He even coughed up a mouthful of blood, and several cracks appeared on his body. Damn it, you actually managed to injure me. Shi Qingyu's expression became incomparably ugly. After all, not many late-stage holy venerates could compete with Xiao Chen's physical body. But now, someone whose cultivation was lower than his had actually surpassed him in terms of physique and strength. In fact, he had even injured him. The people around him were also terrified. The Saint Venerable from the Demon City felt his scalp go numb. If he was the one who attacked Lin Xian back then, what would have happened to him? The old man from the Limitless sect was also terrified. Previously, he had raised his cultivation and said that he would let the other party go. From the looks of it now, did the other party even need him to let him go? Lin Xian stood in the void. The more he fought, the braver he became. The golden flames on his body burned fiercely, and a powerful force was released. This caused the scalps of the surrounding people to go numb. At this moment, he attacked again. The man-ruler's seal slammed over, and it carried a terrifying power of the law. This time, Lin Xian not only used the power of the divine body, but also the power of the law. The golden flames covered the sky, and it was as if thousands of suns had appeared at the same time. The pressure brought about by the flames made even Shi Qingyu's expression become incomparably ugly. For the first time, he felt fear. However, he still roared and charged out, unleashing the power of the Saint Spirit bloodline to the extreme. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. In the blink of an eye, another 100 moves had passed. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly activated an unparalleled secret technique. His strength increased exponentially, and he directly smashed his opponent's arm with a palm strike. Half of his body was shattered, and blood mist filled the air. Everyone was stunned. Lin Xian stood in the sky, and his voice was cold. Saint Spirit bloodline? There was nothing special about it. His words were filled with disdain. Shi Qingyu had gone completely crazy. With a roar, his shattered body reassembled, and he charged over again. He was not convinced. He must kill his opponent. However, Lin Xian's power became stronger and stronger, and in the end, he condensed the 10 ultimate swords again. The sword energy swept across, and with one strike, it split Shi Qingyu apart. The 10 ultimate swords contained 10 powerful laws. Under the fusion of the dragon soul's aura, the sword slashed out, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Although Shi Qingyu was not killed this time, he was seriously injured, and his aura had decreased greatly. Damn it. He quickly retreated in fear. Was Shi Qingyu going to retreat? It was too unbelievable. The primordial grotto was such a powerful expert, but now he was going to retreat. Lin Xian would not let the other party escape. With a wave of his hand, the 10 ultimate swords were unleashed. The divine swords formed by 10 laws moved freely between heaven and earth, directly sealing the entire world. At the same time, thunder and storms appeared under his feet, causing his power to reach the extreme. In a flash, he arrived in front of his opponent. The man-ruler's seal kept striking out. This kind of peerless divine ability required too much power. Ordinary saints could not use it more than a few times, but Lin Xian's divine body seemed to have endless power. He could use this kind of peerless divine ability continuously. Violent explosions sounded, and heaven and earth shattered. Shi Qingyu's body was broken once again. He was torn apart and retreated. Lin Xian looked disdainfully at the surroundings. He turned his head and looked into the distance. At this moment, the Taiji diagram had completely enveloped the yin-yang fruit. It seemed that it was done. With a wave of his hand, the Taiji diagram rotated and quickly flew over with the yin-yang fruit. The surrounding people exclaimed. It seemed that such a precious treasure was going to fall into the hands of the other party. Damn it! Shi Qingyu roared. However, he had just condensed his body, and his aura was very weak. His face was pale. Moreover, he did not have the courage to fight the other party now. However, he was really unwilling to watch the treasure be obtained by the other party. However, halfway through the Taiji diagram, there was a change. A spatial crack appeared and enveloped the Taiji diagram. Then it disappeared. What was going on? Did someone do it? Everyone looked at Shi Qingyu, thinking that it was Shi Qingyu who did it. Shi Qingyu was probably the only one who possessed such strength in this place. Shi Qingyu's face was indeed pale. Damn it, it wasn't me. He quickly explained. Lin Xian ignored him. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. Shi Qingyu was powerful, but he was still no match for him. Moreover, that was obviously the law of space just now. Only a space-type powerhouse could do this. Therefore he thought of someone. In the next moment he opened his heavenly secret divine eyes. An extremely terrifying gaze from the sky cast down. It covered all directions. Lin Xian flew out like a bolt of lightning. The 10 ultimate sword formations surrounded him, shattering everything. That was the law of space just now. It should be a space-type powerhouse. Let's go and take a look. The surrounding powerhouses naturally also noticed this scene. One by one, they quickly followed. They really couldn't think of anyone who dared to be so bold. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. He even directly used the void escape, because he realized that the other party's spatial magic was very terrifying. In the end, he directly used the dragon-shaped sword Qi and slashed out. The entire sky was split open. Cracks spread. In the void, the Taiji diagram flew out. Lin Xian struck out a terrifying dragon-shaped sword shadow, completely shattering the space around the Taiji diagram. Then he said, "Get out here. You want to snatch the treasure from me? Impossible." Is that so? You're too confident. Do you think that you can compete with me after defeating a few late-stage holy venerables? In the void, a cold voice rang out, followed by the appearance of a figure. His figure was abnormally blurry. It seemed that he had merged with the entire world. Gufeng. It was indeed him. Those people in the distance also came nearby. They looked at the figure in front of them and exclaimed. Chapter 43:10. Lin Xian frowned. To be honest, the person in front of him was very dangerous. After all, he came from the monarch clan and cultivated the monarch ancient scripture. Moreover, he mastered the spatial laws. Although the two of them didn't have any conflicts before, Lin Xian knew that he would be a powerful enemy on his path to becoming a monarch. The other party had the same idea. Therefore, he would attack whenever he had the chance. Now, the other party had taken the initiative to attack him. Well, let me see how powerful the inheritance of the Void Monarch is. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a cold aura. Facing the other party, he didn't dare to be careless. This person was even more terrifying than Shi Qingyu. The golden flames on Lin Xian's body surged into the sky. The terrifying sword Qi pierced through the 8 desolates, causing the surrounding people to not dare to come close. Many spatial whirlpools appeared in the void around Gu Feng and directly absorbed the aura. Then, the aura was transferred into the universe. He laughed. The aura is very strong, but it's not enough to threaten me. I don't want to attack you now. So, obediently hand over the yin-yang fruit. I can spare your life. Otherwise, I will send you on your way in advance. Is that so? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He used the man-ruler seal with his palm. His other hand held the 10 extinction swords. The 2 great divine abilities had the aura of the great dragon sword soul. He knew that to deal with the other party's spatial laws, he had to use the indestructible sword. Well, You want to attack me? Since you want to die, I will grant you your wish. Gu Feng's eyes flashed with a cold light. In the next moment, the spatial laws on his body burst out, forming a spatial storm. The entire space shook violently. Everyone felt that the whole world had frozen. What a terrifying spatial absolute art. The void split the sky. A low voice sounded. Then the surrounding sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Terrifying cracks instantly covered Lin Xian's surroundings. It wanted to banish his body to a different space. This divine ability was really terrifying. It used the power of the universe's spatial laws. Sure enough, Lin Xian felt a huge power even though he had the 9-yang divine body. This was equivalent to several worlds acting on his body, making him unable to move. Not only that, but there were even cracks on his body. It was so scary. The surrounding people were all stupefied. Was this the absolute art of space? It was really too terrifying. Someone shook his head and said, ordinary spatial divine abilities were not so terrifying. This Gu Feng should be from the Gu clan. If that was really the case, then they were from the Emperor clan. It was someone from the 9 Li dynasty who said that. As soon as he said this, the surrounding people were even more shocked. Were they from the Great Emperor clan? No wonder they were so strong. Not good. Yu Shijie was extremely nervous. He was really worried about Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face was incomparably cold. In the next moment, he coldly snorted, and the dragon-shaped sword flew out and slashed in all directions, shattering all of the spatial cracks. Boom! He roared into the sky and punched out in all directions, shattering the surrounding void. Nothing in the sky was intact. This scene really shocked everyone. Lin Xian's body recovered, and he charged over. Boom! With a punch, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. However, the corners of Gu Feng's mouth curled up into a cold smile. It's useless. You can't hurt me at all. Sure enough, his body became dim, and he directly passed through this punch. This punch blasted into the void, causing the front to turn into chaos. As for Gu Feng's body, he appeared once again. But he could appear in the myriad worlds at any time. What can you use to kill me? Gu Feng calmly dodged the following attacks. He didn't even leave his original position. Just like that, he dodged everything. The surrounding people were stunned. His spatial divine ability was already in an invincible position. Perhaps only a true Sage King could kill him. They couldn't be careless. That Lin Wudi had a Sage King weapon. Once that weapon was used, it would also be a threat to Gu Feng. Someone said, "Do you think Gu Feng doesn't have it?" If he was really from the Great Emperor clan, he would probably have even more trump cards. Lin Xian's face turned gloomy as he heard the commotion. As expected of the Emperor clan's inheritance. However, do you think I can't restrain you? He used the Heaven's secret divine ability with all his strength. Then he grasped the 10 absolute swords. At the same time, he used the power of the Great Dragon Sword Soul to the extreme. Sword chi slashed out one after another. These sword chi were incomparably sharp. It was like countless huge dragons roaring in the sky. Then they quickly charged over. Gu Feng was originally disdainful. However, this time his pupils shrank. This was because he realized that even though his body had dimmed and he had entered the spatial dimension, this sword strike was still able to threaten him. But his body suddenly disappeared and reappeared in another space. He was teleported. A crack appeared on his hand, and blood flowed out from it. What's going on? Is Gu Feng injured? When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were all stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. He, who had the spatial divine ability, could be injured? Then how did Lin Wudi do it? Despicable brat. Gu Feng's face became incomparably ugly. He stared at the sword shadow. Lin Xian said with a smile, "But don't you have the space inheritance and don't need to dodge? Why did you dodge just now?" Gu Feng didn't answer. The wound on his body quickly healed. Then he charged out again. Next, Gu Feng's attacks came and went like a ghost. He kept teleporting, so no one knew where he would appear in the next moment. Streaks of space mystic powers came charging over at high speed. Void Finger! Endless spatial laws condensed and formed a spatial finger. It directly attacked Lin Xian. As soon as it appeared, it was already in front of Lin Xian. Its target was Lin Xian's forehead. Lin Xian raised his hand and attacked with the man-ruler seal. At the same time, he used the void escape to dodge. At the place where he originally appeared, a spatial stone tablet suddenly appeared and suppressed him. Fortunately, it only injured an afterimage of him. Lin Xian kept waving. Dragon-shaped sword qi slashed in all directions. Gradually, the sword qi shattered the space around them. There was no longer any space for Gu Feng to stand. Gu Feng could only attack from afar. In this way, it would be very difficult for him to hurt Lin Xian. Is this the power you were so confident about? Spatial divine ability is very strong, but it doesn't seem to have much effect on me. Lin Xian's voice was cold. Indeed, if it was anyone else, even if it was a late-stage expert of the older generation, they would have been killed long ago. But he was different. He had too many successions and trump cards in his possession. The heavenly secret divine eyes could see everything. Even if the opponent was hiding in the void, he could still capture it. And the great dragon sword soul could cut through the void. It had the power of indestructibility. These two things were enough to contend with the other party's spatial laws. Chapter 43:11. Gu Feng's face was incomparably pale. He really didn't expect that the other party could actually restrain his spatial ability. Once he used his spatial ability, he was invincible. Who could contend against him? However, he met his match today. Kid, very good. I'll remember you. Gu Feng snorted coldly as his body gradually disappeared into the void. Lin Xian's expression was cold. The great dragon sword spirit erupted once again, wanting to attack. It was such a good opportunity. He wanted to kill the other party, but at this moment, an extremely terrifying aura came from afar, causing everyone to turn their heads. It seemed that something incredible had appeared again. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian didn't attack again. I'll spare you this time. He withdrew the great dragon sword spirit and then waved his hand, summoning the Taiji diagram back. There was a black and white fruit in the Taiji diagram. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile. It seemed that he had to find an opportunity to absorb the power of this fruit. This way, his Taiji fist would be even stronger. Thinking of this, he wasn't in a hurry to go immediately. Instead, he flew in the opposite direction. He wanted to absorb this yin-yang fruit first. On the other side, after Gu Feng left, his expression was incomparably cold. At this moment, a figure walked out and said, "Even you don't have the confidence to kill him?" This figure was Wang Jiani. He had also watched the previous battle. At this moment, his expression was incomparably heavy. Gu Feng snorted coldly. This kid wasn't simple. His physique was the nine-yang divine body and his eye technique was powerful. It was obvious that he also had a top-grade bloodline. What was more troublesome was that he was the successor of the Great Dragon Sword. He had the Great Dragon Sword spirit that could sweep through everything and had an inextinguishable sword intent. The Great Dragon Sword spirit? Wang Jiani was shocked. This was a legendary item, and the other party actually had it. Moreover, it seemed that Gu Feng was very familiar with it. It seemed that the two of them really came from the same world. Gu Feng took a deep breath and said coldly, "Don't worry. Although he has many trump cards, I have many trump cards. This time, it was just a probing attack. I didn't use my full strength. Otherwise, if I used my trump card, he wouldn't be able to block it. Moreover, I'll soon be able to reach the third level of the Great Void Transference. When that time comes, it'll be easy for me to kill him." At this point, a cold killing intent burst out from Gu's eyes. But no matter what, he had indeed suffered a loss this time. He had lost to the other party. On the other side, Lin Xian left the crowd and entered the Great Sage Tower once again. He asked Yu Shirqia to protect him and keep an eye on the situation outside. He then took out the yin-yang fruit and placed it in front of him. After sending out the laws, Lin Xian executed the Taiji art and quickly absorbed the energy inside. 5 days later, Yu Shirqia walked in and said that the situation ahead had changed. Lin Xian opened his eyes. The absorption over the past 5 days had allowed his Tai Chi art to improve once again. The yin-yang fruit was really too powerful. It had existed for tens of thousands of years. In just a few short days, he was able to make Lin Xian's strength change again, which made him really happy. With a wave of his hand, he carefully put the yin-yang fruit away. Then he said, "Let's go out and take a look." It turned out that an extremely terrifying palace had appeared in the antiquity city. Quite a few people had already entered, and there were still some who were pacing back and forth outside, because the aura was simply too shocking. Chao Tianxing brought people in, and so did Ling Huchueshua. In fact, Murong Qingqing also brought people from the Kunlun Pavilion in. At this moment, Gu Feng came. He did not come alone, but brought a few experts from the Gu family, and even people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion. When the crowd realized that Wan Zhenyi had also appeared, they immediately exclaimed. It seemed that he had recovered? A group of people walked in. 2 streams of light streaked across the sky, and Lin Xian and Yu Shijie appeared. They looked at the scene ahead, and their eyes were shining. It was time for that guy to appear. Lin Xian realized that there were people from the 1,000 Demon City around, so he asked the 9-headed Kailan to leave and meet up with the people from the 1,000 Demon City. As for him, he brought Yu Shijie and quickly entered the palace in front of them. The moment they entered, Lin Xian and Yu Shijie felt a huge force pressing down on them. It was too terrifying. This palace was really mysterious. Yu Shijie used the law of water, and it surged out and surrounded them, blocking the terrifying pressure. In the next moment, they walked in. They realized that the inside of the palace was also a space of its own. It was much bigger than they had imagined. It was simply a small world. In front of them, there was an empty palace, and there was a stone tablet erected. It was indomitable, and there were countless great paths carved on it. It was even intertwined with the Tao patterns on the ground. It was extremely mysterious. And around the palace, there were 4 statue guardians. It seemed that there were treasures. Some of them could not help but rush over, wanting to break through. However, the statues seemed to have come alive. An extremely terrifying great path aura surged out, and it directly sent one of them flying. That was a mid-stage Saint Venerable expert. He instantly turned into a bloody mist. He frantically retreated, his face full of fear. The other people were also stunned as they looked at the 4 statues in bewilderment. Originally, they had wanted to attack forcefully, but now, they were all stunned. But now, they hesitated. It seemed that this place was extremely terrifying. There was a huge formation seal. They could not easily attack. Otherwise, there would be a terrifying bombardment. Lin Xian naturally also came in. His eyes flickered as he looked around. Was there another strange formation? The others were also discussing with each other, preparing to break the formation. At this moment, Gu Feng stood out. He said, "Everyone, do you know what kind of formation can be used to break this formation?" "I know a little." As soon as he said that, everyone began to talk. Now, some people knew that Gu Feng should be from a great emperor family and was very knowledgeable. Therefore, someone smiled and said, "Young Master Gu, if you have any ideas, just tell us. If you need us, just tell us. We will definitely help young Master Gu." Gu Feng's lips curled into a smile. He said, "According to the information I read in the ancient books of my family, such a formation requires the power of yin and yang to break it." The power of yin and yang? The surrounding saints all frowned. This kind of power was not easy to find. It was very rare. Gu Feng said that this kind of power was indeed rare. However, there was one person present who had it. Moreover, this person had the power of yin and yang at the same time. If they used his blood to break the formation, that would be the best thing to do. As he spoke, he pointed at Lin Xian. The surrounding people all looked over. This kid had the yin-yang diagram. Previously, he had obtained the yin-yang fruit. He definitely had the power of yin and yang. The people from the high rock grotto instantly walked out and said coldly, "Kid, kneel on the ground obediently and accept your death. We'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, we'll let you know what despair is." The people from the Acheron Hall also came. There were only 4 of them left. One of them had already fallen in the primordial battlefield. At this moment, the four of them were also emitting terrifying killing intent. Chapter 43:12. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect it to be targeted at Lin Xian again. Moreover, it was Gu Feng who took the lead. Gu Feng retreated after announcing the news. It seemed like he didn't plan to make a move. Instead, he wanted to borrow the strength of the other holy cities to kill Lin Xian. That's right, I agree. Wang Jinyi walked out. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He represented the 10,000 Swords Pavilion, the Great Desolate Mansion, Thunder God City, and 10,000 Demon City also walked out. We have no objections. Let's work together. The surrounding people frowned. Lin Xian's strength wasn't ordinary. Even if everyone worked together, they could kill him. However, Peerless City was behind him. Sure enough, at this moment, a cold shout was heard. Who dares to move? Ling Hu Chuexue and Fu Hongye walked over with the people of Peerless City. They came to Lin Xian's side. Whoever dares to touch junior brother Lin will be an enemy of Peerless City. The peerless sacred sword swept across the sky in all directions. Everyone was shocked. Ling Hu Chuexue and the others are here? Looks like the situation has changed. Sure enough, the expressions of the people from the other holy cities changed. In the primordial grotto, Shi Qingyu sneered. Just one faction and a Saint King weapon. You dare to be arrogant in front of us? He snorted. The stone pagoda floated above their heads, releasing an extremely terrifying aura. At the same time, the underworld gourd and Thunder God's hammer appeared. Several Saint King weapons were taken out together, suppressing the peerless sacred sword. Lin Xian glanced at him. You're just a loser. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? Get over here. I don't need a Saint King weapon. I'll destroy your soul in 3 moves. Lin Xian looked at Shi Qingyu with disdain. Damn it. Shi Qingyu's face was cold. He had indeed lost to Lin Xian, but that was after thousands of moves. Lin Xian said that he could destroy his soul in 3 moves. It was obviously a slap to his face. He snorted. Kid, I admit that I lost to you before. But so what? We're competing now. No matter how strong you are, can you reverse the situation? That's impossible here. Who said we're weak? Murong Qingqing walked over with people from Kunlun Pavilion and Jade Lake. Help was here. Everyone was shocked. Regarding Peerless City's allies, they had already seen them in the 2nd stage. Could it be that the 2 sides were going to have another decisive battle now? Sure enough, another group of people walked towards them. For example, Li Hongxiu led the people from the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, and Guan Songhai led the people from the Azure Sea Pavilion. There was also the Joyous Union Palace and the Heaven Devil Race. These people all came to Lin Xian's side. For a moment, a powerful aura suppressed the entire area as it contended with the people from Acheron Hall. His strength was not weak at all. The people from the Acheron Hall had cold expressions. Shi Qingyu said coldly from the immemorial grotto. It seemed that there would be a duel soon. Since that's the case, let's do it. Terrifying light burst out from their eyes, and the surrounding people quickly retreated. The 2 sacred cities attacked. They all had saint-level weapons which could definitely break through everything. They began to worry about the heaven and earth. The people of the Acheron Hall were the first to roar. They activated the Acheron gourd with all their might and charged over. The terrifying yellow springs surged in all directions. In an instant, it completely enveloped the entire space. Everyone was worried that the mysterious palace would shatter in an instant. However, what surprised them was that it actually withstood the terrifying aura. The area of the palace became incomparably vast, as if it had turned into an ancient battlefield again. A torrential force gushed out from the primordial chaos. But the stone pagoda also moved, and a terrifying power burst out, shattering the world. The 2 great sages' saint-level weapons attacked together. That energy made everyone feel despair. Retreat quickly. The sacred cities that did not participate in the battle all quickly retreated. They knew that they had to wait for the outcome of the battle to be decided before the others could act. Sure enough, some people retreated into the distance. Some people even left the mysterious palace to watch the battle from afar. Ling Hu Chueshue and the others roared angrily and jointly attacked with the unparalleled sacred sword. With one attack, the unparalleled sacred city turned into a sword chi that rampaged between heaven and earth. Countless voids were trembling nonstop. The unparalleled sacred sword was incomparably powerful, but against the two great sages' saint-level weapons, it was instantly suppressed. However, at this moment, Lin Xian also took out the spear of great destruction. Everyone once again attacked together. With a boom, monstrous demonic chi surged and swept in all directions. The laws clashed in the sky. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The surrounding people retreated one after another. Not good, quickly use your full strength. Some people roared. On the demon city's side, they took out a black heavy sword called the Firmament Sword. When the sword slashed out, it was as if the heavens were pressing down, and the terrifying power was even more shocking. Kunlun Mountain. Murong Qingqing and the others attacked Kunlun Mountain to block it. At the same time, Thunder God City, Great Desolation Mansion, and Demon City also attacked together. On Lin Xian's side, Acacia Palace, Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, and Deep Sea Palace also counterattacked. A great battle broke out in an instant, and it was incomparable. But the unparalleled sacred sword turned into a piercingly cold divine sword and slashed down. This attack could split a world in an instant. The two sides were evenly matched in the battle. However, there was a change in the situation at this moment. A group of people suddenly attacked. In the void, an ancient mirror appeared. It unleashed a frightening amount of space power and shot towards Lin Xian and the others. Not good, Fu Hongye and the others felt the impact. This sudden attack made them feel even more pressured. Lin Xian summoned the Great Sage Tower to block it. With a boom, his arm was also numb from the impact, and many people vomited blood. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with incomparable killing intent. Damn it, it's Gu Feng. That's right, Gu Feng and the experts of the Gu family also took out a Sage King weapon, which was a void mirror. This was a replica of an extreme-grade weapon that had reached the level of a Sage King weapon. When it was used, it was extremely terrifying. Kid, you dare to kill so many experts of my Acheron Hall. Today will be the day you die. The people of Acheron Hall gritted their teeth. The people of Great Desolation Mansion and Demon City also looked cold. They must capture the other party and let him know what despair was. A terrifying aura erupted once again. Lin Xian and the others' faces were extremely ugly. The addition of the Gu family had caused them to be in a passive position. This was because they had to defend against spatial attacks at any time. Lin Xian shouted, and Murong Qingqing led the people of Kunlun Pavilion and charged forward. Trying to escape? Thunder rumbled between heaven and earth. Thousands of lightning bolts fell and struck Kunlun Mountain, causing it to shake non-stop. Murong Qingqing and the others were blocked, and their faces became extremely pale. The people of Demon City sneered. They used the Thor's hammer, and a cold voice sounded. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.